away from the Sixers, but you can't. It's like a train wreck. You have to keep looking at it. So occasionally we'll touch on this because I have a new theory on the Sixers and what they're up to. I think I'm on to them. But in any event, we got to look. If you look at the YouTube, we have a new producer for the first segment here. Bill Colarulo's here. I'm Mike Missanelli, of course. Brennan Gunn is in the saddle for Ray for at least the first part of this show. Now, Bill, would you like to explain why?
Well, I think Ray's got a call with Temple.
Ray is going big time.
He is big time.
He's got a conference call for a play-by-play situation. Well, he'll be doing Temple basketball games for ESPN Plus.
How about it, man?
He's going to be too large for this show.
Well, first he gets his name on the marquee over at Collegeville Bakery. Now he's going to be on ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, a young kid, you wonder if he can stay humble.
One day he's going to say, oh, yeah, I remember that guy, Mike. And,
I know.
I remember those guys.
Yeah, those guys were, when I was just, starting out, those guys were with me. But I always knew that I would surpass their success.
Who the hell is Ray Dunn?
Good one, B-Gun. So we got Brendan behind the glass.
So Brendan is with us today. And Bill, your words of wisdom to him as we were coming into the studio, or what?
I said, don't bleep this up.
Don't bleep this up. So, Brendan, how you feeling today? You all right?
Not bad. Happy to be here with you, Mike. Bill, looking at you. Happy to be here with Mike.
Oh, my man.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, me and Brendan used to spend some weekends together. He's produced me a couple times.
Well, in any event, we had an Eagles football game. And I got to be honest with you. I can't see. I know you think this is a trap game, and I want you to convince me today why this is a trap game and why this Jacksonville team has a chance to win. There are actually people picking the Jags in an upset, including this guy from The Athletic. I just don't get it. I'm looking at the numbers, and the numbers don't equate at all. If the only thing that you have going into this game is a hunch that it's a trap game, I can't go there. I got to go by what the statistical data shows me, and the statistical data shows me there's no way that the Jacksonville Jaguars can be good enough to come in here and win. Now, would they cover? Who cares? 7.5 they're getting. Maybe they can cover. I don't think they will. But, Bill, explain to the people why you think this could be an upset victory for the Jags, which would throw this fan base into a peculiar spot is if they lose to this game.
Oh, you're not kidding. If they lose to this game, that's going to set everybody back again. Now, I don't think they're going to lose this game. Let me make that clear. I don't think that they're going to lose to, like you said, an inferior roster like the Jags, who are going to be without both of their starting wide receivers. They just traded away their starting left tackle. So you look at it on paper and you say, there's no way the Eagles should lose to the Jags. And that's why I say it could be a trap game. Because when you factor in all of these things, they shouldn't lose. They got a better roster. It's an inferior opponent. They're coming off 3 straight wins, 2 back-to-back road blowouts. But you got Doug Peterson coming back to town. You got a guy who, say what you will about Dougie P, and we can debate whether or not he's actually a good coach, an X and O's guy. I think his players like him. And these players for the Jaguars understand what this means for Doug Peterson, because not only is he returning to Philadelphia, he could be coaching for his job. So when I factor that in, I say, all right, well, you know what? This could be the quote-unquote trap game, because the Eagles are going to be feeling pretty good. They shouldn't lose this game, but yet you look at the Jags, and they may be playing for their coach's life. But with all that said, no excuse.
Of course, Bill is of the he keeps going down this narrative that the players care that they're playing for the coach's life.
I think they do.
You think they give a flip that Doug where they want to save Doug Peterson's job? Seriously.
I think they like the guy.
Oh, come on.
I think they like the guy.
They're struggling. They're not an efficient team. They obviously have not been well coached this year. Do you think they care about saving his job? Come on, Bill.
Well,
Why do you keep buying into this? Oh, this coach, they play for their coach.
There's a part of it, Mike. I mean, there's a part of it when you look at Doug Peterson, and he's a likable guy. He's a likable coach, that the Jaguars players would not be, oh, yeah, you know what? let's try to win this game for our head coach. He's going back to where he got fired.
Couldn't care less.
I can't buy
They
that.
couldn't care less. If they were a good team, they would care. They're not a good team. So what's the incentive to play for their coach, to save their coach? The coach hasn't been that great for them.
Now, the defense has really let them down. And the issue is, and again, I'm not making an excuse. The Eagles should win this game, and they should win this game big. And if they don't, I'm going to be furious on Monday. But you just look at those factors. That's why I say it could be a trap game. And you look at this Jaguars defense, as bad as they've been, the one thing they've done well is stop the run. They're a top 10 defense in rushing yards per game against. They're a top 6 in yards per carry against. So what that means is the Eagles are probably going to come out and throw the football. And if that happens, does Jalen Hurts go back to his turnover-worthy plays? Because that's the only way that the Jaguars can upset the Eagles, if they win the turnover battle. Now, a positive for the Eagles, the Jags actually have less takeaways this season than almost anybody except for the Eagles. They both have 4 takeaways. So neither defense has really taken the football away. But that's the only way this team can stay in this game, is if they win the turnover battle. So the Eagles protect the football, try to establish the run, pick your spots. See, that's the fear. They come out and they say, you know what do the Jags not do well? Oh, they don't defend the pass, and now they throw the ball 35, 40 times. I don't want to see that. You should be able to impose your will. If you are that good of a running team, which I think they are, no one should be able to stop you.
I get it, but still, you can't ignore the weakness of the Jags. Now, with the full complement of receivers that they had last week, I mean, they're 4-0 when AJ plays 80-plus in each of those 4 games. Devontae at 85 yards, Calcaterra 58. They had like 225 yards with 3 guys last week. And I look at the Jags. Against the pass, their rate 111.8 rate. That's 31st in the league. 8.1 yards per attempt. That's 30th in the league. What's going to stop about that?
Only turnovers. That would be it. They got to protect the football.
That's what I'm saying. So, I don't care if they pass the ball in this game.
Well, they're going to have to pass the ball, I think. You got to take advantage of something the Jaguars don't do well.
And besides that, Josh Jacobs ripped into him with the run. They don't stop any part of what the Eagles do well.
Well, they're only giving up 4.2 yards a carry, which is 6th in the NFL.
Jacobs had 127 last week on him.
So you think Saquon's going nuts tomorrow or Sunday?
Either way, if they can't stop the run, they can't stop the pass. We had our guy on yesterday who covers the Jags, and he says they're going to be unable to score 30 points, which means they can't keep up with what the Eagles are going to score in this game because their defense is not good enough to hold the Eagles under 30.
Yeah, Jags are giving up 28 points a game, which is...
They're giving up 30-plus points in 3 of the last 4 games.
Yeah, their defense is terrible, man.
Then I don't get it. Now, are you going to try to beat the Eagles? You're going to try to score against the Eagles' defense? Their pass defense has been really good. 88 rate against the pass. And their completion percentage, they're in the top 10. The yards per attempt, they're in the top 10. The defense is against the pass. And they're going to throw 2 novices at them. Brian Thomas is a rookie. A good player.
He's hurt.
He's not going to play?
I don't think so. I don't think Brian Thomas is playing. Am I right, B-Gun?
Well, then that makes it worse for them because Parker Washington, Penn State kid.
Here we go with the Penn State.
Big.
And don't think I didn't notice the hat today.
Well, listen, I Wednesday I unveil a little Penn State love. So today, as we go into the game, Penn State love, I actually don't think they're going to win the game.
So, Brian Thomas, I just pulled it up, by the way.
Yeah.
He was a limited participant this week with a chest injury, so I don't know if he's playing or not.
I think he'll play.
Christian Kirk is out.
Yeah.
He has a broken collarbone.
So Parker Washington becomes their main guy.
Well, if he's a Penn State guy, I mean.
Well, yeah, he's a good, nice little player.
Watch out.
He's not fearsome.
Yeah, how about the I don't know if I want to call it sucking up from John Kincade this morning.
Kincade was sucking up?
Picking Penn State as his lock of the week? What's he doing here? Is that an olive branch of
more
peace?
Optimistic than I am. I don't know. I can't call it. Penn State being a home dog scares me. It really does.
Yeah. You're all about the line.
In any event, I hope it happens. The worst that could possibly happen is they lose. They're still in the playoffs. So I'm at least satisfied they're going to play in a postseason. Meaningful postseason game.
Yes, because they could lose this game and win out, and they'll be in the postseason, right?
And they will win out. There's nobody that can beat them.
Yeah, so then it's not as
remaining schedule. All right, so we'll talk about it. Now, let me just touch on the Sixers. I believe that the Sixers have it in their mind. I'm firmly, because I don't believe he's going to play for a really long time. I believe the Sixers' strategy with all this clandestine horse crap that they're pulling on this, their goal is to reduce the season for Embiid. Their goal is to, if we shorten the season by a third, that would work better for us for the playoffs. So I think this is all a ruse. I think this is they're cheating their fan base for the sake of preserving this guy to only play the 2/3 of this season.
All right, well, let me ask you, because if you're correct, let's say he comes back in a couple of weeks, but they have him playing a lot of games. He's not missing every back-to-back. Would you feel any better about that? Would you rather him start the season missing every back-to-back or do this strategy, but he plays a lot of games?
I got news for you.
He's not playing
Even
back-to-back.
if they, of course not. Even if they do this, he's not playing back-to-back.
Yeah.
This way they can reduce the load even more. It's all about reducing his load, which to me is fraudulent to the fan base. Now, I know people are going to buy into it and they go, well, I kind of like that concept. I kind of like that concept where they reduce the season for him to 2/3. That'll serve us better. And I go, yeah? Okay, well, then you don't know the NBA. Because him sitting out games does not serve the team better. I know you think it does. I know you think that he can just pop out of the sky, land on a basketball court, and then they go into the playoffs with this full head of steam. Nuh-uh. That's not the way it works in the NBA.
Yeah, but for them to do that, wouldn't we then need to get some sort of injury news? If they're going to shut him down for an extended period of time to start the
What have
season.
they been saying so far?
But they can't keep doing
Why
this.
not?
They just got fined for it.
He's ramping up.
They going to keep saying he's ramping up
He's
for the next
ramping up.
month?
He's not quite ready yet.
And they're going to
He's
keep
ramping
getting
up.
fined? They're going to keep getting fined by the NBA?
I don't know. Maybe the NBA goes, okay, he's not ready to play. He is injured. I don't know. I think this is their strategy. I think they are trying to reduce the season for Joel Embiid. Now, you can't pull like I just didn't wake up on a turnip truck. You know, I've seen how these teams play with their fans.
Well, I'm assuming we're going to get some sort of update today because the Sixers are back in action tomorrow, right?
Hey, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. But I smell a rat here. And the rat is that they're trying to reduce the season, and that's their main strategy because it does not make sense why he would not be playing now. Just makes no sense. So I think they're going to continue this line where he's rehabbing and he's doing everything. We don't think he's strong enough and blah, blah, blah. And they can play that narrative on for a long time.
So you may not be wrong because they reassess him today, and they say he's not ready to play on Saturday, and then he's not going to take the West Coast trip.
Of course.
So he doesn't take the West Coast trip. He would miss the game against the Suns, the Clippers, the Lakers.
And you know what they do? They got a calendar, and they're putting an X. All right, we preserved them here.
Oh, man.
We saved them here.
You may be right, Mike.
We saved them here. We saved. Now let's see. We can save next week. Okay, we can save them here. We can save. But yeah, by the time we get to 50 games, we're all good. So there you go. All right, 610-632-0975 is how you climb into the show. Mike Missanelli Show. Tell me about what you feel about this game. Are you overconfident? Do you actually think, like Bill thinks, that the Eagles could be upset in a trap situation? It's the Mike Missanelli Show back after this.
does it all.
A little quick little conference call. Mike Missanelli show, and producer Ray Dunn is back.
Hey,
Ray is now being chosen to do the Penn men's basketball games, the ESPN Plus, starting with Monday's opener. Congrats, Ray.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so just hopping on quick call, 10 o'clock
Ray, is
production.
this like
My man.
being on producing this show? Has this become a burden now?
No, we're never be a
like
burden.
you got a rocket ship to the moon. Now that you're on that rocket ship, are you going to be bored with us?
No, not at all.
No.
Yeah, we joke with Ray a lot, but dude, you're impressive, man. What are you 24 years old, man?
I am.
24 years old. He's producing this show. He's doing stuff for ESPN now, women's basketball. Ray.
And he was trained by a fine journalistic program.
Who was
at
that?
Temple University.
Oh, that's right. On a full scholarship, we've learned.
Exactly. So he made the right choice instead of going to Brown or Dartmouth,
Dude, he's getting.
or Harvard or Princeton.
He's got his name on the marquee at Collegeville.
He chose the cherry and the white.
I made the right choice to my landlord today for rent. That's what he's getting.
Did you see his hoodie today, Ray?
I'm repping.
What's he got? Temple.
Temple.
He's got the Temple
I'm
badge.
stopping by after the show. I'm on
repping-
campus.
I had to rep Penn State. I got to be honest with you. There are people, I'm disappointed in my Penn State brethren. I thought at this stage in my career, my life, and my dedication to Penn State that there'd be some wealthy Penn State benefactor out there who has access to the presidential suite. And, maybe they could have extended an invite for this game. This is only the biggest game of the year. Well, Mike, we'd love to have you in the suite with us, hanging out, and I got nothing. A whole week, I got nothing.
Wow.
I'm scrapping around. I'm actually looking at like SeatGeek, trying to schlep a ticket, maybe.
You know what's crazy?
And the tickets are like, end zone tickets are at a little high price at this point. It'd be a little long day for me. But, people could have reached out to me a little earlier this week.
It's crazy because James Franklin, Ray was showing me an email earlier, sent him an email and said, we'd love to have Ray Dunn as our guest.
Let's not get too crazy.
I've been invited to the presidential suite once.
How is it? Beautiful?
Because I donated. There was a scholarship in my name. I donated a scholarship.
That's nice. Is it still going?
Penn State Journalistic Department. Well, they've had a change in the people that woo you. But it was the Mike Missanelli Penn State Sports Journalism Travel Fund. So the money that I donated went towards the students traveling to actually cover big events. Like in Philly or Pittsburgh or the Super Bowl or, whatever.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so I got invited into the presidential suite. So I was in contact with one of my cohorts down, who was a professor down there, and I go, what's the chances I can get into the presidential suite? Do you guys, the journalism department, have access to it? He goes, yeah, we have access one game a year, but you have to be a 50,000 plus donator to get considered. I go, oh, come on, man! I'm no longer had that scholarship thing. So I guess that's a way to say, wow, you got to get back in with that scholarship fund.
Well, maybe you would be able to do it if your daughter just didn't get married.
Well,
that set you back a little bit.
Well, that's true. But it's funny because you you get relationships with people. It's almost like a casino host. How they cultivate their customers.
Yeah.
So they've got guys that cultivate alums. And, I had a really good association with the one guy. Then he moved on, and then nobody ever got back in touch with me.
Well, there's still time for you to get tickets to tomorrow's game.
This is my last impassioned plea for people who have access to a suite. You get an extra ticket. I'd be willing to drive up.
What better way than to spend the Penn State game than with Ray Dunn's host? Maybe that's how we'll get it. Ray Dunn's host.
You think I could pull strings up there?
You get to sit next to Mike Missanelli, and he'll tell you all about Ray Dunn.
Ray's got connects at TU. Like if I ever wanted to go to the Temple University game.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't really help you up at State College.
No, I got TU basketball connects.
You do?
Oh yeah. I've sat courtside with some high price alums.
I believe
at
it.
Temple hoop games.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I mean, the head coach right now is Penn State guy.
That's correct.
Adam Fisher.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
So there's the connection.
All right.
Speaking of head coaches, Dougie P coming back to town, Mike. I wanted to ask you a question about Dougie.
Yeah, this is a good subject. Go ahead, ask me a question.
You know where I'm going with it?
No, but ask it anyway.
Dougie P or my man, Nick Sirianni?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask it in that context. Here's my more like Doug Peterson sharing his advice to Nick Sirianni to me is the bigger story. But like, are you asking Doug Peterson or Nick Sirianni? You're asking me to choose.
So you're sitting here right now. So we have the benefit of being able to look at both of their coaching careers.
I got to be honest. Now it's not answering the question. I could never choose either one of them.
So you wouldn't want either one of these guys.
No.
One guy won a Super Bowl. The other brought you to a Super Bowl.
Neither man does anything for me. Like when Doug Peterson was here, even when he was winning games, I was a little skeptical of his intellect. And I kind of thought it was going to run out quick. And it did.
Yeah.
Sirianni, well, you know how I feel about him.
Yeah.
So I'm the
dumbest coach in the world.
I couldn't in good conscience make a choice.
Well, you would be wrong.
Well, are you taking Sirianni?
Of course.
You would be wrong.
I mean, look at the
You're taking
records.
Sirianni.
Look at the records. This guy.
Who did not win a Super Bowl over a guy who won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, look at the records, man. First of all, Dougie P with the Eagles, 46, 39, and 1. Nick Sirianni with the Eagles, including the playoffs, 41 and 22. Regular season record of 39 and 19, Mike. It's a no-brainer.
You would be wrong, but that's okay.
Nick Sirianni over Dougie P, even though Dougie P brought the first Super Bowl and only Super Bowl.
All right, listen, man. I'm sorry. I couldn't. I have some pride, and for me to pick one of those guys would be totally against the grain of how I feel about either man.
Yeah, you'd rather Dan Campbell biting ankles.
No, I would
Pick
say
the winner.
I would
Pick the
say
Super
Dan
Bowl winner.
Campbell. I would have to evaluate Dan Campbell if he was my coach. But your outward hate for him is really peculiar since they're the best team in the NFC right now.
We'll see what happens.
All right, 610-632-0975. Back after this. was mocking my breakfast.
He's 12 years old.
I happen to be a fan of the Pop-Tart. Ever since I was a kid, I was a fan of the Pop-Tart.
Ray, when was the last time you had a Pop-Tart?
Yeah, you're gonna lose this battle. I've had one probably within the last 2 months.
Oh, my God.
I buy them all the time. I don't buy the frosted ones.
Go to the vending machine and get one here.
I got the vending machine.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
a big Sunday
but
morning thing for me here.
It's all broken. As it fell, it broke.
Yeah.
Because they're probably stale. However, the beauty of the Pop-Tart is it blends the non-sweet crust with the sweet filling, much like a tasty cake pie does. The balance, you can have those Hostess things or those things that look like big raviolis, and they have the glaze in it, so it's sugar on top of sugar.
Yeah.
You got to have the balance. The Pop-Tart has perfection in balance. It might be one of the greatest inventions ever for this company.
Why, who makes the Pop-Tart?
The Pop-Tart is made by, is it Kellogg's? Who makes the Pop-Tart?
Kellogg's Fields, right?
It's Kellogg's, I think.
Look at you making a mess over there.
No, it's broken. Look, it's all fragmented.
Dude, I haven't had a Pop-Tart literally since I was probably 12.
You see me open the Pop-Tart, you go, what are you, 12? What? How come you got to disparage the Pop-Tart?
Because it's for kids. It's a kid item.
No, it's not. You get a box of Pop-Tarts, right? There's 6 in a package, or 8. Might be 8. It's like $2. It's the greatest bargain ever.
Is that your breakfast every day?
No. I do these for like a sweet snack, like after dinner. But I didn't have any breakfast today because I went downstairs and Pagano's down there and they're closed.
Yeah, right. What'd you do for breakfast? You usually do Pagano's every morning.
I went Chick-fil-A. I should have let you know. I got the heads up that was going to happen, so
Yeah.
they took care of me with that.
I want to take a survey here. The Pop-Tart has stood the test of time for how many years? Almost 50?
1964 is according to
There you go.
the Wikipedia page I was just on.
60 years.
So an item that lasts that long has to have some special quality.
You're getting killed in the YouTube chat.
For Pop-Tarts?
Yes.
What? How's it possible? It's been an item for 50 years. So it obviously still sells.
So we got, good God, a Pop-Tart. Someone called you an animal. I don't know why you'd be an animal.
Jerry Seinfeld did a movie on the Pop-Tart.
I was told not to watch it.
Yeah.
I was told
Not good.
It was very bad.
But he has the same affection for the Pop-Tart as I had growing up. But I've maintained it's like it's the perfect sweet snack because I don't eat a lot of sweets. This has the balance of sweet plus the crust, which isn't overly sweet.
No, it's nasty.
And it just gives you a little dessert type feel.
Someone's asking if you're going to have a Lunchable next.
No, I don't. No, the Lunchable is for kids. That's for lazy moms.
Oh, come on. Don't be getting the moms coming at us.
No.
Well,
That's Mike's opinion.
Let's face it. My mom would whip up a sandwich for me for lunch
Yeah,
right, when I
same.
was a kid. Right?
I never got the
It's
Lunchable.
like,
Thanks, Mom.
Kind of moms go, here you go. Here's a box.
Yeah.
Take the box to school with you.
Yeah, make your own sandwich with crackers and really
Exactly.
cheap bologna.
Right.
Yeah, my mom always made me sandwiches, thankfully.
Of course.
But a Lunchable, you could make your own pizza, which was nasty. Right? Didn't they have the pizza one,
They
too?
did have that.
Nasty. Nasty. But anyway, it's a football Friday, Mike.
I used to have to eat lunch with, because my school was one school, grades 7 through 12.
So
The
you'd be
high
there with
school.
the high school kids.
Yeah, so they would put the junior high kids in with the high school kids, and if you didn't play a sport, you got bullied. But they knew that I played a sport, so they left me alone. But one of my classmates every day used to get his tasty cake taken away from him. Every day. Every
one
day.
of the older kids?
A bully would come by and go, all right, hey, Brian, give it up.
Oh,
And
man.
the kid was just, I go, why do you pack the tasty cake?
Oh, that's not good. That's not
man,
good.
you deal with bullies, man.
Yeah, thankfully, I never wear it. I never wear it.
You went to a prep school. You know,
Well, I went to public up until middle.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I went to public up
middle
until
school. Middle school, he started going to prep school, right?
Well, then I went to a
You know
Catholic
what I
school.
mean?
I went to St.
Yeah,
Agnes.
How about you, Ray? You go to prep school? You go to
No,
prep school?
I was a public school through and through.
And then decided to go to Temple over Penn State.
Anyway,
it's a
I
better
don't know
school.
how we got on this with the Pop-Tart.
People
but
not
the
happy with you on
We
text
got in
line
on it
about
on the Pop-Tart
I don't
because
get-
you brought
see,
it in.
I don't get this. How could you be unhappy with me because I like a Pop-Tart?
Carrie says
like
it's a violation.
It's like a classic American substance.
Matt in Clearwater says seagulls won't even touch a Pop-Tart.
Yeah, it's nasty, dude.
Nasty at all.
That's not nasty. I don't know what these people. I'll stand with you on this one. Oh, here we go. We got someone in favor here. MJ at Pottstown. I'm 60. I still eat blueberry Pop-Tart with vanilla ice cream. Oh,
I just grab
I would just go with Pop-Tart alone.
a strawberry Pop-Tart.
It's a very
with-
unhealthy food.
with no icing. What do you mean it's unhealthy?
Extremely unhealthy food.
How?
High in sugar, unhealthy oils, little protein, little fiber.
But what pastry is not? That.
Yeah, you're right.
What do you
Most
think?
pastries are.
Seriously.
But that's not a very nutritional breakfast that you're having over there.
All right, you have your protein shake and let us enjoy our Pop-Tarts.
I don't eat them for breakfast. Today, I just happened to be hungry. And I went to get some coffee. I said, what can I balance the coffee with? So it would be this. Normally, when I have a Pop-Tart, it's like 8 p.m.
It's also processed. There's probably all types of chemicals in that thing. See, that's the one thing, too, you got to look. And we're not going to get on our soapbox here. But you also got to look. The Pop-Tart you ate 50 years ago is probably not the Pop-Tart you're eating right now.
Why not?
Because they've changed things. The stuff they put in the foods.
This has been consistent forever. There he is.
Oh, look, Vito's got a Pop-Tart behind me.
See?
There's been no change to the Pop-Tart. It's been a successful formula for 60 years.
All right, maybe we need to get sponsored by Pop-Tart, so I'll stop saying negative
And
things.
you know how it was.
We're going to get Pop-Tart to call in today. The way we got
Yeah, yesterday I said John's, and I got a call. Hopefully no one from Pop-Tarts is calling me.
You know how it was invented.
A Pop-Tart?
Yeah, kids discovered in the Kellogg's they would the syrupy stuff they would put out, and kids would get in there and lick the whatever the containers were that this stuff was in,
Yeah.
and they said, "Wow, maybe we can put this in a pastry." And they did. That's how the Pop-Tart was invented.
The stuff we
Wasn't
feed
that
our
the
kids.
Seinfeld movie
It
premise?
was the that was the Seinfeld movie premise.
I saw him do stand-up leading up to the movie coming out.
Yeah.
It was very funny talking about the movie itself.
Yeah, the movie wasn't good.
No.
You know what you should have for breakfast over a Pop-Tart?
What's that?
Eggs. That's what you should be eating.
Normally,
This is ridiculous.
I have an English muffin with turkey bacon and cheese.
Why turkey bacon over regular bacon? You think it's healthier?
Sometimes I go, yeah, it was definitely healthier.
Because the pork bacon is far superior in taste.
It totally is.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll switch it up. Yeah. All right, let's.
All right, let's get back to the Football Friday.
The Birds, guys.
Yeah, we got the Eagles.
Eagles game coming up.
Let's go to Tom in Northeast Philly. Tom, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Tom,
Yo, what's up, Mike?
what's going on, Tom?
Not much, man. Yo, this ain't no trap game. I'm going to tell you why. One, we're just not like an over-cocky, overconfident team right now, and I think we learned our mistakes from last year, and I think we're looking at each game as they come. And I think that we're just I think we're just going to be able to take care of what we need to do for the next couple of weeks to just keep mounting these wins because –
And what brought you to this conclusion that this team, because, you know, this fan base was pretty freaked out. Was it the last game that did this for you?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like, I'm not one of these people that freaked out because I looked at it since the off season. You know, we had a lot of rebuilding to do, and it was just I knew if I can never remember the defensive coordinator's name. As long as he got some time to put the right players in the right position, things would start turning around. Same thing with the offense. We had to figure things out, and I think we're now starting to gel. We're starting to figure out who we are, but I just don't think we take every game lightly as maybe once we did. And I think from last year, the catastrophe, I think we're just like, okay, we just got to keep going one game at a time.
Wow, so you have a lot of faith in what they are right now. The head coach, the quarterback, the defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. You're totally on board right now.
Yeah, and I to be honest with you, I didn't have this high expectation. Like, be honest, at the beginning of the season, I thought maybe 9-10 wins. total, and I wanted to see how we progress with, new coordinators once again, Hall of Fame talent leaving. We lost a lot of guys the last 2 seasons during all season through retirement, free agency. We had to put a lot of trust in these new young guys, 1 year, 2 year, luckily Jacoby Dean, I thought he was good. He just needed to get healthy, and I think we're finally seeing of what he really is capable of. And I just think, I didn't have this mindset of Super Bowl.
But now you do.
No, I'm not even there yet. I just think we're a very good team, and I think we're going to continue to get good.
Wow. So this is amazing to me.
I love the energy from Tom
It's
today.
amazing to me. And listen, the Cincinnati game did that.
Yeah, for sure.
I okay with you. The Cincinnati game has convinced people that this is now a team that's on the railroad track to Super Bowl town.
Well,
right?
Yeah, because the defense has looked so good, too. I mean, we knew the offense had talent. It was just a matter of them finding their footing under Kellen Moore. But now you look at the defense that's sitting in the top 10 of almost every category, and the 3 weeks in a row they've had. And the question was, all right, well, they did it against Deshaun Watson. They did it against Daniel Jones. Well, they just did it against Joe Burrow. So that's why I think people are starting to come around. But the reason I threw out the question.
Dean even getting love.
I know, Jacoby Dean. But the reason I even threw out the question of it being maybe a trap is these are the exact games that you would define as a trap game. It's never a team that is going to be a tough game. It's never an opponent where you look at the opponent and say, oh, this is going to be a tough matchup. It's always the opponent that you're supposed to dominate where you could consider it a trap. Now, I think the Eagles are going to be fine. I don't think they're going to fall trap to this game. But I threw out the question because I think this is the exact game that could set up that way. But I do think they're good enough. And to that caller's point, maybe they do have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder now, where it's like, look, we're 5-2. We were trying to find our footing, and people are still underestimating us a little bit. So they're not smelling themselves yet. That's when the things start to go haywire. But there's a reason teams don't go 17-0, Mike. You lose games you're not supposed to lose.
Yeah, and there's going to be a setback. I just don't think it's going to be this game.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't come
it
next
might
week.
be Dallas. It could be that game.
But that's the other thing I said yesterday. In the weeks before they go to Dallas in the last 5 seasons, they're 1-4. The only one they won was 2022, was Chicago before they went to Dallas. They won that game, but then Jalen got hurt, and Gardner Minshew was the starter the following week. Outside of that, they've lost every single week the last 5 seasons when they had to go to Dallas the following week. So are they looking ahead a little bit? 3 straight wins, 2 big back-to-back road wins, and now Dallas next week.
Your rationale is not bad that this could be a trap game if they're looking ahead. But the Dallas Cowboys are not that viable.
No, they're not.
So, looking ahead.
But they're still the Cowboys, though.
Yeah, I get it. But looking
every year, it's still a Cowboys-Eagles matchup.
I hear you. All right, let me just read this Vic Tafur from The Athletic.
I don't know if I've read this yet.
The Jaguars showed some heart last week after losing receivers Brian Thomas Jr., Christian Kirk, and Gabe Davis to injury. There's a chance that Thomas and Davis play on Sunday. That would be nice, as I am itching to go against the Eagles, who are 3-0 and much improved since their bye week. I don't trust Coach Nick Sirianni in what should be a flat spot with a game at the Cowboys on deck. He's going right into you.
Wow.
Of course, they could be flat and still win by more than 7 if Jalen Hurts is back to his old self. He had the best single-game EPA per dropback rate of his career last week with a 0.58 mark. Monitor those Jaguars wide receiver updates. The pick. Jaguars.
Wow, I did not see that. So he's actually picking the Jags.
Yes.
For the exact reason, saying it may be a little bit of a letdown.
That is correct. Let's go to
See,
Mark.
I'll be furious if that happens, though.
Mark, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Mark.
What's up, man?
How
First
you
things
doing?
first. Good, man. S'mores, Pop-Tart. You put it in the toast for like 35 seconds. Dude, it's the best thing in the world. I'll eat those till I'm 80 years old.
S'mores, Pop-Tart. See,
S'mores
I've only ever gone strawberry. I don't.
Yeah,
I
mean,
don't risk the
all of them are
s'mores.
good,
I don't do the
S'mores are
chocolate.
the best. You
Yeah.
got to try it, man, especially if you want it as a dessert.
Yeah, no,
But-
I just go straight, no toasted, bland Pop-Tart, which is good enough for me.
Yeah, there you go. Well, hey, if I could change topics real quick,
go ahead.
60 seconds, we can go back and forth on this. But I want to talk Embiid. So the last, 5, 6 years, we always lose in usually the second round, sometimes the first round. And all these fans are saying, we need to sit him. We need to sit him. He can't stay healthy. Let's just ramp him up in March. Let him go in the playoffs. He can finally take us far. Now we're getting that. And I see both sides. It might be because of a different reason. He's probably injured from the Olympics. But essentially we're getting that. And everybody is complaining about it, that he should be playing blah, blah, blah. Like anything, if he comes back later in the season healthy and we're winning past the second round, getting to the finals, and I know that's still a
And
long
you actually believe that.
Believe what?
You believe that you can sit out a third of a year, all of a sudden spring yourself on you, and you're going to be more healthy. How are you going to be more healthy? By not playing?
Well, I mean, I think he should still work and practice and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that'll make you ready for an NBA season.
That's a double-edged sword with Embiid. Like, he can't stay healthy for a whole season. He just can't. And like a comparison, all these Phillies fans the last 2 years are like, we got to bring in Mike Trout. We can sit him for the front half of the season and play him towards the end because he always gets hurt. How's that not the same thing? Like,
It is the same thing, and it's a stupid rationale.
Well, a little different, though, in baseball.
It's a ridiculous rationale that you can save somebody by missing a large part of the season and then spring them on the rest of the world, and all of a sudden they're going to win. It doesn't work like that.
I don't love it. I don't love
But
it.
it doesn't.
But
It's a
what we need
con.
to do.
This is what the Sixers have conned you into thinking. You become permissive to this nonsense.
What else do we have? We have no other rationale.
Yeah, here's the rationale. How about if you frickin' play? How about that rationale?
He can. I agree, but he's not Shaq. He's not these other big.
Oh, stop it! With this.
man.
These people, I swear to God.
I thought we were going to have a nice calm
Philly
day.
fans have been so conned by nonsense. It incenses me.
I thought you were going to be nice and calm.
They have become permissive to nonsense. Oh yeah, the narrative. If who cares if he misses? Who cares? Let's start him in January, and things will be great. Okay, you keep thinking that.
Well, to the caller's point, and you said that it wouldn't work in baseball either, but there is a major difference where you could add a player to a baseball team, and you don't have to worry about cohesiveness and then playing together. It's not baseball's a different sport. You're not, as much as it's a team sport. Mike Trout could get into the lineup, and that's fine. It's an individual performance at the plate. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same as what you would do with a baseball team.
No, in other
basketball
words, your
team.
timing would never be affected as a baseball player who has to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball and 92-mile-an-hour
I'm not talking about him individually. I'm talking about the
I'm just
team.
saying, like this notion that you could just throw a guy on a field and things are going to work out is ridiculous. 610-632-0975. And it incenses me that the Sixers have conned their fan base into this permissive attitude, which was started weeks ago by Bill Colarulo.
Finish your Pop-Tart and put a smile on your face.
Mike Missanelli Show back after this. No, Joe, it's a football Friday, and it's hard to talk about this game. There's not any intrigue really in this game for Eagle fans to talk about it. We get it, but we're willing to talk about it and what your spin is and where the Eagles are at this point. I mean, we had a caller earlier that says this is the Eagles on the Super Bowl train, and he's convinced. I need a little more convincing. I thought that last week was a major step towards it, but I need a lot more convincing, in fact. So. We'll see how they dispose of this team. This is a weak team that's coming in here. A good team dispatches this team without looking ahead to Dallas. So I'll be paying attention to that. The 10 o'clock hour was brought to us by Window Nation, where you can take 50% off on all style windows, plus make no down payment, no payments, and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. And our 11 o'clock hour, brought to us by Grungo Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. Pray for peace, prepare for trial, grungolaw.com. It used to be Grungo in Colorado.
Yeah, that was the firm I started with
and
Grungo.
You decided to go after your bag in sports media instead of collecting all those 33% fees.
33 to the third.
33 to the third fees for personal injury cases.
Yeah, that was a fun conversation. I came home, told the wife, hey, you know what? I'm going to change careers.
Speaking of the wife,
change careers.
Today we're going to get into some domestic issues.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, a couple things to bring up.
Was it one of them about the email you got?
One yesterday. Well, one was about the email. That was one I got today. But the one I alluded to yesterday, when you're together with a woman for a really long time and you refuse to get married. So you're together for 6 years. And listen, all women want to get married, right? All guys, if given the choice, would stretch it out as long as they could. I mean, this is a fact. All right, you want to deny that? That's fine.
I wouldn't say all guys.
The majority of guys would just love to just not go through the formality of it's the truth.
See, right? I would say if that's the case, you just haven't met the right one.
I disagree. Because men are inherently afraid of commitment. That's the ultimate commitment. They don't want to make it, but they'll commit to living together because it gives them some kind of freedom. So the question in that case would be, if you don't want to go to that extent and go through with the marriage, even though you're in happily living together bliss, is it appropriate for the woman to leave the relationship? I alluded to that yesterday, and there was a story that I read where that was the dilemma. So we'll talk about that, but we'll also talk about the wedding ring itself, based on an email I just got.
All right, that's coming up.
It's coming up.
All right, that's coming up.
Yes.
We got Nick Sirianni coming up at 11:40.
Oh, I can't wait.
He was on time on Tuesday. He was on time on Tuesday.
I just can't wait. I'm not telling you, I can't wait for Nick Sirianni because this is the new Nick Sirianni, and I'm kind of bummed about it. He's turned into a mature, serious man now, and I can't have that.
How many wins you think it would take for him to get back to his old ways, or is he done? You think he's changed forever?
I don't know. This is why I'm paying attention to these pressers now, because he's thrown me for a loop. I'm conditioned to hear stuff that I can make fun of, and so without having that, what am I? I'm nothing.
Well, on Monday, when we sing our Sirianni love, because the Eagles will win this weekend, he will be the quickest coach in franchise history to 40 regular season wins. So the Sirianni love will be played at a very high level on Monday.
What a coach.
But, someone in the chat said that as angry as Bill may be if they lose on Monday, he will not blame Nick Sirianni. And I'm going to go on record right now that if this team does come out and is susceptible to this trap game that I said it could be, that is squarely on the head coach. So if I'm telling you this could be a trap game, then Sirianni as the head coach, CEO head coach, needs to be aware that it's a potential trap game. So it's up to him to make sure these guys are ready to play. So if they lose on Sunday, yes, I will lean into Nick Sirianni on Monday. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this team is good enough to overcome it. But I will blame the head coach.
Whoa.
I say we cut that. We take that right now. And if they do lose, that plays before the show intro on Monday.
Hey, I'll stand by it.
Leading into the show.
I will stand by it. There is no reason why this team should lose. I said it could be a trap game for that very reason, but there is nothing where you could convince me that, yeah, you know what, the players played hard and they lost this game. So that would be on the coach. Another good thing for the Eagles this week, you know the Jags blitz less than anybody in the NFL. 32nd in the NFL in blitz rate. So Jalen doesn't have to worry about that. 27th in pressure percentage. So Jalen should be able to sit back and pick this team apart.
Listen, the Jaguars have given up 30-plus points in 3 of their last 4 games. Like they're not going to stop you unless you stop yourself. They don't handle the run very well. They certainly don't handle the pass very well. What's to stop the Eagles from moving the football in this game?
Turnover. I mean, really, it would be them stopping themselves. That's the old cliche. Oh, we stop ourselves. That would be it. But hold on. I'm getting distracted by the YouTube chat. I'm getting killed for the way I say Jaguar.
Yeah, you say Jaguar.
Yeah, Jaguar.
Yeah, it's Jaguar.
It's Jaguar. I get it, but I say Jaguar. I even said it to my wife this morning before I left. I said, I know I'm going to get killed because I say Jaguar. Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Jaguar.
They say war with a U in it.
Jaguar. Yeah, I'm getting killed in the chat for saying it.
Yeah,
the Jaguars, baby.
Jaguars.
Jaguars.
That's how little kids say it.
Not the only one in this town.
No, you're not. Everybody, most people say Jaguar. All right. So let's go to the text board. We have some Pop-Tart text and Eagles text. Let's catch up on the chat.
All right.
The text.
So a lot of people want to check in with their Pop-Tart love following the initial hate. Kurt want to check. I'm 66. I love Pop-Tarts. I'm with you and Ray, Mike. We got Dawood checking in saying cinnamon and brown sugar is a #1 seed Pop-Tart. Curious where your rankings of the Pop-Tarts would go.
I only go one Pop-Tart.
Only one.
Only one in my whole life. I don't do the cinnamon thing and brown sugar. It's too sweet for me. I go with the strawberry, and I don't toast it. That's how I handle my Pop-Tarts.
So JB in Pottstown is anti-Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
Pop-Tart is actually a fake food. You can't even burn it with a blowtorch. And the Jaguars are the Pop-Tart of the NFL.
I'm not burning it with a blowtorch. I'm eating it. So I couldn't give a flip whether it doesn't burn with a blowtorch.
Wow.
Right.
Wait, how about this, Mike?
What?
I just Googled, unhealthy foods. So according to Healthline, they list 15 of the unhealthiest junk foods in America. #1, the Kellogg Pop-Tart.
Now, Bill from Royersford says he's all in on the occasional Pop-Tart. So you got to pick one. You want to go with Healthline? You want to go with their audience here? Some people like the Pop-Tart.
Now, see, Bill's one of these health bar guys, because he's missed a workout. He has to have the health bar, right?
I do. I always have a kind bar every day.
You got a health bar, right? You make it sound like I have. This is my whole routine of diet. I'll occasionally have a Pop-Tart as a dessert item, right? Now, we as human beings eat all kinds of junk. This is probably the only junk that I'll ever eat. So it's got 370 calories per serving, which is, I guess, one Pop-Tart. Total fat, 12%. That's not good. Total carbs, 25%. That's not good. Total sodium, 14%. I am not touting this as a health food. All right, I'm touting it as a diversion from dinner.
Yeah, but here's where you're missing the point. Like this list of 15 that includes the Pop-Tart, it also includes corn dogs, the bloomin' onion at Outback Steakhouse. So you're the Cinnabon. See, I think most people would grab the Pop-Tart thinking, okay, this is a nice alternative to breakfast, not realizing it's on the level of some of these other unhealthy foods.
I don't eat any of those unhealthy foods. So would you begrudge me one unhealthy food?
No, but what I'm telling you is...
I make myself a healthy dinner every night. I never eat processed foods. I never eat Lunchables.
Yeah, but you wouldn't finish your dinner and then say, you know what, before bed I'm going to eat a bloomin' onion. But you would say it about a Pop-Tart.
I've never eaten a bloomin' onion in my life, first of all.
It's on the same list as Pop-Tarts.
It doesn't appeal to me in the least, a bloomin' frickin' onion, right? What appeals to me at like 8 o'clock when I've had dinner and I had a chance to digest it, I go, I need something sweet in my mouth. I'll have a Pop-Tart handy. It's a box. I take it out. Boom. It's quick. Easy peasy. That's what, it's not like part of my whole diet.
We're gonna have to up your game a little. bit.
I'm sure I eat all 15 of those foods.
It's gonna
Probably
be-
save the bloomin' onion.
This is gonna be a healthy show from now on.
It's Americana Pop-Tart, all right? I don't care.
Curly fries, Arby's curly fries are on the list.
Yeah, I could go for some curly fries right now. Keep listening.
I don't eat curly
Cinnabon?
fries either.
Cinnabon, Popeye's chicken tenders.
I don't eat Cinnabon.
Love that.
I
They
don't
stopped
eat-
by the other day. I enjoyed my Popeyes.
I don't eat chicken tenders.
The Burger King Oreo shake.
I don't have the Oreo shake.
The Dunkin' Donuts glazed jelly stick.
I don't do that.
You like a glazed stick here and there.
No.
Um,
You can hit the break whenever you want.
No, I don't. 610-630-0975. Tim McManis, a little later in the show. We'll have our NFL picks by ourselves today. Mike Missanelli show continues. Coming up at 12, the news and noon. Nick Sirianni before that, 11:40. So don't go anywhere. You'll hear Nick here as we talk about all the important issues like Pop-Tarts and leaving relationships because the guy won't marry you. All kinds of stuff, which in a lot of ways is a lot more interesting than talking about this football game. Because there's
a massive indictment on the Jaguars.
It is. It is a massive indictment on the Jaguars, and it's a massive indictment on the lack of enthusiasm for a game like this. Either because the Eagle fans know that the Eagles are so much better, and they're not buying into this look-ahead thing that they have a possible chance to lose, or that the Sixers' issues have become more important than the Eagles at this particular time of the year.
Yeah, but this is, though, when we look at the schedule for the Eagles, this is the last what you would consider an easy game for a while. Because then you're at Dallas, then a short week Thursday night at home against the Commanders, which is stacking up now to be a really important game. Then you got back-to-back road games, L.A. Rams, Baltimore Ravens. So it's going to be a tough few weeks. They need to win this game because you don't know how the next four after go.
The Rams game is especially a situation where I think they could lose. But see, the calls that we have on now, I want to talk about the Embiid situation. And just let me make myself clear here.
Oh, because you haven't done that all week?
If I haven't made it clear all week. This is a form of consumer fraud. And I am smelling that the Sixers have this grand plan to reduce the season for their center and try to get away with it, which means they're not caring one bit about the fan base being satisfied. They are saying it doesn't matter that you're going to come to a game, you're going to watch a game without the main attraction. What matters is that we're going to keep him out as long as we have to for this fictional storyline that he'll then be great in the playoffs and he'll be healthy through it. And there's no guarantee of that either, because when you don't play, is there enough time for you to play and mold with the team and get the team good enough to compete in the playoffs anyway?
So if you had to make a prediction, we're still waiting on an update from the Sixers. If you had to make a prediction, when do you think Joel comes back?
I don't know. I can't make a prediction. I could tell you this is what I think they're trying to do. I think now maybe they won't be able to get away with it. I think they are trying to reduce the season as much as they can for him.
All right, so if he doesn't play Saturday night against Memphis, then there's no way he opens up on the West Coast, right? I would think they wouldn't do that.
No.
So now that brings us to, at the earliest, Sunday, November 10th against Charlotte, which I don't care as much about that game. But then Tuesday, November 12th is the first NBA Cup game, which, again, I could not care less about, but it's the Knicks. So I'd like to see him play against the Knicks, but they wouldn't probably have his first game be against the Knicks, right?
I don't know. I really don't know when he's going to play. This West Coast trip is like, I doubt he even travels. Like he's been with the team. Like if he doesn't travel, they can make more of a case. No, he's back at the training. He's ramping up. He's at the training facility. That's why he's not traveling.
Yeah, see, that makes a lot of sense, which is going to be frustrating. You're right. Oh, well, he's ramping up. He's not going to make the trip.
Oh, yeah, he's ramping up. He's working out at the facility.
He's got to see his knee specialist back in Philly that week.
Yeah.
Ramping up for the NBA Cup.
Maybe.
Imagine they bring one of those home. We could raise a banner.
When do you think you'll be calling NBA games?
I think Ray is a little salty about this, too.
Ray's upset.
Am I sensing this, Ray? You're a little salty?
I mean, I got tickets tomorrow night, so, yeah, there's probably a little bit of selfishness with me. Like, be nice to see him.
Yeah, Ray's not happy.
No, but Ray, you kind of bought into the whole.
Oh yeah, I absolutely. No, I'm the product of what I bought into. Yeah, so I understand. As someone that's been has been a part of a season ticket group for the last couple of years, I know what I bought into.
Here's what the Sixers brass is doing right now with their sap. Hey, we convinced them.
Ray, even if they announce Joel's coming back Saturday, right? He plays tomorrow. You're there. This may make Mike angry, but I think you and I are in agreement on this. I'm okay then him being load managed and not playing back-to-back games throughout the season.
Yeah, I'm cool
I just want him
with
to come back.
The thing is, I'm still sitting here concerned about okay, so we now have no answer. Like, I'm still closer to the no answers, the knee, where's the knee at? Because it would make sense to be, if they had started this season with him playing opening night, and then we started to see, oh, yeah, he's not playing against the Toronto Raptors on that Friday night, and then he goes and plays the Pacers, and oh, he's off for the Pistons. Like, we would be talking about the frustration of, hey, game in, game out, and these aren't back-to-back games. For him not to have taken the floor yet, more again raises the concern alarm for me.
Y'all are suckers.
Y'all suckers.
Y'all are suckers.
That's okay.
Yeah, you're a sucker. You're a sucker. They have conned you into using his inefficiency in some games in the playoffs to justify what they're doing, to consumer fraud your ass.
All right, well, let me ask you this, okay? And we've been talking about this all week. If they truly didn't believe that this gave Joel the best chance to be healthy for the playoffs, then why do it?
You actually...
But then why do it, Mike?
Do they actually...
Do they just want to piss off you and Sixers fans?
Do they actually know that's going to lead to success? Or are they just guessing?
Well, I'm assuming it's based off of medical and training.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Well, what else are they basing it on? This isn't Daryl Morey making it up.
On he gets hurt all the time, and so they think, or they're conning people into thinking that things are going to be different if they rest them 30 games.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, that's not going to happen.
Okay, but you're saying they're conning people.
When you rest the guy that many, the fact that he doesn't play for that long, in my opinion, makes you more susceptible to injury.
Okay, but why do it? If you're the Sixers.
Well, because that's the only thing they have left. What other justification can they possibly have where the guy's never healthy in the playoffs? We're going to do the same thing over and over again? So they're telling you, well, okay, we got to try this. But they're doing it at your peril. They're doing it at your con.
But you just said it. The guy's never healthy for the playoffs, so what else are they supposed to do? This is kind of, I guess it's a last-ditch effort. You're going all in with Joel.
But you're buying into it thinking that, that's the magic key to success. That's not. It's not the magic key to success. You're taking a chance. But while you're taking the chance, you're defrauding your own fan base.
Well, would it be worse if he plays, gets hurt, and then misses three-quarters of the season?
I can't do this with you anymore. I just can't. You have become permissive. You're a sucker. You're a sucker. Ray's a sucker. Everybody who looks at this as a benefit is a sucker because you're the one getting cheated. 610-632-0975. We're back after this. Sirianni's coming up. It says 11:40.
I don't like tardiness.
He was prompt last time. You know, this is a new change of Nick Sirianni. He was prompt, and he was lucid, and he didn't bring his brother up. So,
he hasn't mentioned high school, nothing.
Right. So we'll see what
You think his family's upset?
we'll see what this newfound maturity, whether it continues at our presser that's coming up. So don't go away for that. Also, we'll have our NFL picks coming up. And you know, this is a bad NFL card, so I might have to go to college. And one of them is not Penn State. I'm wearing Penn State today because, obviously, I want to show you a little loyalty as we go into the big weekend noon game tomorrow with Ohio State.
But you're not picking the Nittany Lions.
I'm afraid of the game. I got to be honest with you. You know, Penn State is a home dog. I don't like it.
I'm going to miss the game, unfortunately. I mean, it's for a good reason, but
You don't have a vested interest
in the game. No, but it's a good game. I don't watch a ton of college football, but when you have a good game like that, I like to watch it.
It is one of the odd things about you. I was going to say the oddest. That's definitely not the oddest. That you were a college football player and you have no interest in college football.
Yeah, it's. I love NFL football. I don't enjoy college as much, and I don't know why. I've just never gotten into it as much. Another unpopular opinion. I don't know if I should say this to you, Ray.
Is this John's cheesesteak is overrated?
I was going to say something else was overrated.
What?
I can't say it to Ray. We were just building him up. I don't love college basketball.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't love it.
I don't think you're going to put college basketball out of business.
Listen, college football is so plentiful that I could see that you wouldn't be invested in. But college basketball is fantastic.
I know, and I don't watch it as much. That's what I'm saying. I know that's an unpopular opinion.
You're a weirdo. I got to be honest with you. No, seriously. You're a guy that's never watched the Seinfeld episode, never watched the Law and Order episode. Don't watch college football or college basketball. Has no interest. What were you interested in? Like,
well, I watch.
What were you doing to fill in the time? Like, I don't understand how you could not have watched the Seinfeld episode.
That I don't understand.
It's in a very interesting way.
I don't understand the Seinfeld thing because I loved Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know how I just never tuned in to Seinfeld when it was on.
No, you don't have to like it. I'm just saying you've never seen an episode?
No, and I think I would like it.
Like, you were never intrigued to watch the most popular sitcom of all time?
No, because when it was on, I didn't watch it, and now I haven't gone back. I know it's still available. I should probably watch it. That's one I'll admit that I'm weird about. But the college basketball and the college football, it's the same time as the NFL. So I watch more NFL games. And now that we have it on Thursday, Sunday, Monday, it's hard to find the time.
Do you watch the NBA?
I watch the NBA.
You do?
I watch the NBA. I watch the NHL. See, that's the thing. When you're a big hockey guy,
you never watch the NBA.
It's
Most
hard.
hockey people don't watch the NBA.
It's hard to find time for everything.
It's not time. It's not time on why hockey people don't watch the NBA.
Well, no, for me,
All
I'm
right?
talking about.
Oh, for you.
I do watch the NBA.
In general, hockey people, in my experience doing this for a really long time, the hockey people look at the NBA. Hockey people already have a complex about their sport not being as popular. For them to give in to the NBA would reinforce that for them.
Well, it's also partially, like I played ice hockey growing up. When you play ice hockey, you don't play basketball because it's the same time of year. Now, I did actually play basketball, but it was not easy. I'd have to miss basketball games to go to hockey games. So most hockey players you chose, you weren't a basketball guy, you were a hockey guy. But can't talk about hockey, Ray. Hit it, Ray. Hit it. 2-1 victory last night. It's called the winning streak, Mike. That's 2 in a row for the Fly guys.
Yeah, I lost some money on that game last night because I took the Blues thinking that the Flyers would come back down after that beautiful win over Boston.
2 in a row, baby.
And I was looking good there for a while because I'm thinking they're going to lose in a shootout. That's perfect. And a late goal by who? Who scored that late goal? A nice pass.
Oh, it's a great hockey name, man.
Yeah.
Bobby Brink.
That's right. Bobby Brink flipped it in on a great pass.
It was a beautiful play.
Yeah.
It really was. And they got good goaltending last night from Sam Ersson. He played well.
So which Russian's now the backup?
I think now it's Kolosov.
One Russian got banished.
Yeah,
the other one moved up the ranks.
Fedotov
Got demoted.
didn't look good. So, yeah, now it's Kolosov. But Ayerson should be the backup. They still are lacking a true starting goaltender.
True. All right, Kevin in West Philly joins us. What's up, Kevin?
What's up, y'all?
How you doing?
I'm all right. Mike, I just think we think the Sixers is trying to play us, and we don't. We want Embiid to sit out. We've been through the process.
Well, it's because you've been conned.
We've been through the process.
You've been conned. Listen, Kevin, let me cut to the chase. You're being conned.
No,
you're buying into their crap. You're buying into their rationale, which is basically to accept consumer fraud.
So another person don't got an opinion sometimes?
No. I'm just saying. My opinion is you're being conned.
And my opinion is we've been through so much. We want to see him be healthy in the playoffs.
And you're suggesting that by sitting him out, he's going to be healthy for the playoffs.
He can roll over and drop 30. That's Embiid is center.
Uh-huh.
He ain't got to shoot. I used to play ball. You can get it's his muscle memory.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Listen, you're getting conned. If you want to be conned, you can be conned. That's
and there's no way the Eagles can have a letdown because last year we beat the Buffalo Bills, the Dolphins, the Chiefs. We are a tested team already. We just went through some stuff at the end of the season, but we getting back. I love the show. Thank y'all.
All right, man. You got it. There's nothing that galls me more than a fan base that get conned by the organization. Nothing worse. That's my number one peeve, that the fan base will go along with a con plan by an organization.
I'm angry
I've
too.
suffered through it. The Eagles for many years doing that.
Yeah, but listen,
I suffered through the Sixers doing that.
I'm angry, too, at the way this season has started and the lack of transparency that we're getting from the organization. But at the same time, it's hard for me to sit here and say that the Sixers are trying to con the fan base because it would be a hell of a lot easier.
What do you call it?
Well, Mike, it would be a hell of a lot easier for them to just let Joel play. So what they're doing and taking all this backlash that they're getting is clearly because they think it's the best path forward. You may disagree with the path,
They are thinking that the most backlash they could take is if he gets hurt for the playoffs. That's the number one thing they're thinking about. So in order to avoid that, they're giving you this, which they have no idea what it's going to do.
Yeah, but that's a pretty big thing that they're trying to avoid, isn't it?
Isn't it consumer fraud, though? Buy your tickets. We don't know if he's going to play, but you buy the tickets anyway.
Wow.
Because we have, this is our entity. You people can just come along with it. It doesn't belong to you. This is our thing. So keep buying your tickets. You might not see them, but keep buying the tickets because we have convinced you that our plan is going to succeed. It's fraud.
Yeah, but along those same lines, you play him 82 games, or try to, and he gets hurt, and now he misses even more time. You're still paying for the tickets.
Did I ask him to play 82 games? Did I ask them that maybe you can play him to ramp him up by limiting his minutes during the game? And wouldn't that be better for the fans and the team? Wouldn't they have a better chance to win? Why? How come you're not going down that road?
Because I am trying to trust the medical and training staff. And if they think the best path to him staying healthy is taking nights off, then I have to support it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a personal trainer or a physical trainer.
You got con just like our last caller. Here's Nick Sirianni to con us more.
And I know that you're a lot busier now than you would be in February or March, but as the trade deadline comes up, do you get asked to watch players that they might be interested in trading for? And how does that go with how busy you are?
Yeah, anytime we're talking about a player, yeah, Howie and I watch it, and he'll put me on the radar of it and say, hey, watch this guy, or and then we'll talk about it. We do that with everything. We talk about everything, and so the process in that is no different than free agency, college scouting, trades, everything.
How many guys have you looked at?
Nick, when it comes to offense in general, max protection, what are some of the pros and cons from your perspective when you use max protection?
Yeah, it depends. There's different varieties of that. Are you max protecting because they're bringing more than you can block? Are you max protecting to sell play action, right? So there's different varieties of that. I would say the main things that you asked about the negatives of it, or positives of it are obviously there's times that you keep the pocket firm. There's also times that I'll just give you one of each. You keep the pocket firm, and then there's sometimes you get poor matchups. You'll get and that could be either way, but you get a known rusher on a non-offensive lineman. So there is obviously many pros and cons to everything in this game. Those are two things right there.
Nick, how many of the changes we've seen offensively since the bye week are a direct result of input from players?
Yeah, we talk about everything together. We go through our processes together. I'm not, again, same thing. I won't say, hey, this percentage or that percentage or anything like that. But you try to evaluate as a coach what your players do well. And you do that based off practice. You do that based off games and what you're being successful at, and what you're not being successful at. And you do that also by talking to the players. Hey, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? So it's a both and we're all in this together. We win games together. We lose games together. We get to the best answers, together. Again, it's just why it's one of the greatest team sports there is.
Nick, can you see Ben's role moving forward, and even beyond this year, going either offense or defense? And is there any way you think he can expand his offensive role?
Yeah, well, he's doing a good job of the things we're asking him to do. We'll see how that goes. But the things that we're asking him to do, he's done a nice job at. He's one of our best special teams players. It's been exciting watching him. I think that's where the excitement to use him a little on offense has been his success on special teams. And when he's had an opportunity to play at linebacker, he's done a nice job there too, because we need that depth at that position and his athleticism at that position. So, we'll see. I like what we're doing with him right now. Won't get into where he meets and everything like that, but I like what we're doing right now with him, and we'll see how the year progresses.
In the last couple of weeks where Tyler has filled in for McCoy, have you seen something in Tyler's game these last few weeks that maybe he's improved on a lot from the summer?
Yeah, I think in the last game I thought you saw a lot of movement, displacement from anytime he had to block down on a tackle. I felt like he was getting really good displacement in that game, and I think that's something that he's worked really hard at. Always known he had the ability to be able to move guys, and I think it's just has come together for him these last couple weeks, and you notice it in practice, and then it carries over to the game. But he's done a nice job, and I think that we all have a lot of confidence in him. His teammates have confidence in him, and they should, because he's stepped up and he's performed and helped us win some football games because of his play.
In the past few years, what perspective have you gained on LaShawn McCoy's career here that maybe you didn't know from afar? I was able to follow his career quite a bit, and I was at IUP when he was at Pitt and in Philly, and then his brother, right before I got there, played at IUP. So a lot of the guys that I had coached with or that still played there were friends with his brother, and so there was a natural following there of us watching him. And so I was able to see a lot, and I always thought just, man, how special he was with the ball in his hands, of making guys miss in space. And you saw that, I remember watching him play. There was a big-time game they had against West Virginia, and I remember watching him play in that game. And he just had this special ability. So I think that when I got here, I knew a lot about him. But then when you get here, you hear all the, how great of a player he was, and one of the all-time greats for the Eagles. My number was 25. I always like the guys that wear number. I have a special thing with the guys that wear number 25, and so. But again, knew a lot about him prior to coming here, and just thought how awesome he was with the football. And then I think the main thing that I probably, to answer your question, the main thing I've probably learned is that snow game. That I just hear about that snow game against, was it Detroit, of how everybody's slipping on the field, and he's making these cuts at full speed. Well, that's the special type of player he is, and I've gotten to talk to him, multiple times, and I just I think so highly of him. Always appreciate his support when he's talking to me about the team, as a former Eagle. And then interestingly, when we first got to Indy, he was at Buffalo in the snow game when Buffalo played Indy, and I remember making those cuts in that game as well. And so again, just awesome with the ball in his hands. I don't think he put the ball on the ground very often, but we talk about the ball a lot. He's a little loose with it, but no, I'm just kidding. He obviously did. He knew how to take care of it, and he knew when to take care of it. He knew how to, get the ball away. But man, he was a special guy to watch. I'm really excited for him, and man, you go through these things, and then your number, you go into the Hall of Fame, the team's Hall of Fame, and that's pretty special. So obviously a special career by him.
Rick, you've often talked about the collaboration on offense with you and Kellen. As you guys have figured it out offensively these last 3 games, are there any stories you can share that remind you of why you wanted him to be a part of this offense?
Yeah, I think Kellen is a great offensive mind to say, I think sometimes in football, I know in football, it's like, it's not the consistency is what you admire in the daily grind, not the aha moments, right? Especially as coaches, we don't go out there and make plays, right? But I think it's just his consistency, his mind, as a football coach, super sharp, constantly always looking for ways to get better. I'm always, I'll go into his office and, he's always watching tape. If I go into his office, he's always watching things that help him grow as a coach too, not necessarily even just tape of the opponent, but tape around the league or tape of, his brother puts a lot of good football out there, watching that in colleges. And so I'm always admired the guys that have had the success that they've had in this league, but still look to grow. And I think Kellen is right at the top. He's one of the better coordinators in this league, and I'll say the same thing for Vic. But really pleased of with those 2 guys, and the daily work that they have. Again, it's not about I think it's about their daily habits and their daily work. But can't say enough good things about those 2 guys.
Do one more.
We've seen Jalen Carter miss a couple practices over the last 3 weeks with the shoulder injury. What's the best way to explain what's going on there?
Yeah, obviously you miss when you aren't able to go, and so and then obviously us being smart with limiting him to make sure he's ready on Sunday. But and that's always a fine line, Tim. You got to get the guys ready for Sunday mentally and physically, but you also got to get them ready for Sunday physically, right? And so, it goes a little bit like, hey, we got to get him in practice so he's ready to play, but hey, if he practices here, will we have him at full strength? So it's always a fine line there, but I think he's done a nice job as far as when he hasn't been able to practice, of being in it mentally. I think he's continuing to get better, and I'm just looking for him to continue to have that consistency as a football player. Practice is going to help him, and then playing in those games will obviously continue to raise his level of play.
All right, thank you.
Oh, I just can't take this anymore. I just can't. He's
Mr. Maturity, baby.
He's a mature, lucid man, except for the one goof move where he said he wore 25, and he roots for guys that wear 25. That's where he gets into Lollipopville.
You didn't get to
But-
see him look up at this top of the little setup there to see a picture of LaShawn McCoy and try and see him talk about his ball security. You would have enjoyed that.
Okay.
You didn't get that over the air.
That one. Aside from that one minor goof blip, he's like I don't like this. All right, just take a break. 610-632-0975. He's playing right in the Bill too. Big Bill was right. He's a mature NFL coach, and he's got a bright future.
All he does is win, Mike.
All he does is win. The Mike Missanelli Show continues. 30. 12 o'clock hour brought to us by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months. $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. Well, at noon, it is time for the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And of course, the news at noon, I don't know, this could be beneath him at this point. Play-by-play man extraordinaire. Going to be soon as big as Noah Eagle at a young age.
Is it Noah or Ian that's the son? Which one's the son?
Noah.
Ian.
That's right, it's Ian.
Father.
Eagle. That's correct. Not Ian, yeah.
Noah's the son.
Ray does baseball, too.
Ray does it all.
And soccer. He did a union game.
And that's what I'm saying. He does the news at noon, which is like, this is so, small potatoes.
He probably won't even, he don't even put it on his resume.
For the kid anymore. But anyway, Ray Dunn goes around and does some research on 3 interesting little stories that we can make fun of or that we can, I don't know.
Very seriously discuss.
Yeah, seriously discuss. Yeah. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the news at noon.
All right. Let's start out in Dallas. Micah Parsons' podcast. Finally, we're not talking about Darius Slay on it. He had Trevon Diggs on his podcast this week, and they started talking about Jaden Daniels and went through their top quarterbacks in the league right now. Take a listen to who they talk about, and more importantly, who they don't talk about in this clip.
Where would you rank him among quarterbacks right now? I would say he's definitely top 10.
Higher.
You think he's top 5?
For sure. Who else you gonna put in there?
Give us your top 5 right now.
I'm gonna go him. I'm gonna go Mahomes.
Barr. Gotta have Barr.
Yeah. Lamar. Josh Allen. Jalen playing pretty good right now, too.
Jared Goff is a top 5 quarterback right now.
And Matthew Stafford. I love how Matthew Stafford played the quarterback position.
Sam Darnold could be in the top 5 conversation right now.
Yeah, Sam Darnold looking crazy, too. So it's hard right now.
I can't give you a top 5 right now based on how everybody's performing.
Yeah.
It's just too hard.
Yeah, so he doesn't talk about Jalen Hurts.
Oh, he does. Jalen
mentioned Jalen.
Did he mention Jalen?
Yeah, he mentioned Jalen, Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, Jared Goff, Matt Stafford, Sam Darnold. Wait, when they started the clip and they said him, who was he talking
about? Jaden Daniels.
Talking about Daniels.
He talking about Jaden Daniels. He didn't mention Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott was not mentioned.
That could cause some consternation in a locker room. Really, like, what's Dak supposed to feel about that? His own teammates who.
Well, especially because they list.
You got to throw gratuitous Dak in there as top 5 just to keep harmony, don't you?
Yeah, especially when you're going to throw in guys like Sam Darnold and even Jalen Hurts.
They're talking about Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts in that clip, and they don't give Dak anything.
And they didn't talk about Joe Burrow either.
No love for Burrow.
Yeah, no Burrow, but we're going to talk about him right now. Next.
That's a beautiful segue right
that?
there.
See, I'm a radio professional.
To Joe Burrow.
It's a vet right there.
Joe Burrow was asked his feelings on Halloween, and he is not a big fan of the holiday.
No. I'm not into celebrating something just to celebrate it, but I don't know exactly what we're celebrating there. Just dress up to dress up. I don't know.
You're not a big dress up guy?
I'm not a big dress up guy. I've always been anti-dress code, if somebody tells me I got to wear something, I don't want to wear that. That's just always how I've been.
Why?
I don't know. I guess I'm a contrarian sometimes.
You're either that or you're anti-fun. And the fact is, he dresses up every day as Macaulay Culkin.
Well, that's why he's salty.
Because Macaulay Culkin imitated him?
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin nailed the Joe Burrow look.
Yeah, they look alike. So, come on, Joe. Have a little fun. That's weak.
That is pretty
I didn't think he was stuffy like that.
It's almost as bad as our show not dressing up yesterday.
Yeah.
We got to do better next year.
I was prepared for the kiddies last night, though, for Halloween. I had a gold rush of kids come at 6:30. Man, they rushed me.
My son mopped up last night.
Not one kid. Usually the snarky kid will ask, could I have more than one? Because you give out the smaller bars now, right? I was impressive. It was maturity. Like last year I got, can I have 3?
Yeah.
And yeah. Oh, yeah.
I guess that's starting the negotiation.
Can I have 2? They didn't ask this time. They just opened the bag, and I said, I don't even notice what they are. I don't analyze. I go, hey, how you doing? And
Yeah.
You know?
I got a funny story about my son trick-or-treating last night, but we'll continue with the news at noon. I'll tell you later.
All right.
All right. And keeping with the Halloween theme of yesterday, George Sedano on Around the Horn yesterday dressed as Mad Dog and gave a Mad Dog impression. And I want to get our take. Is it better than one Mike Missanelli's Mad Dog impression?
Tony, I feel like everybody on this panel is taking up from my bowl of gummies here, especially that gun ray over there. I don't know what she's doing down there, but I mean, let me tell you something. I saved those gummies for later. But here's the thing. I told Stevie and Molly that I wasn't going to talk about the Jets anymore until they were at least 5 minutes. But you're twisting my arm, Tony. You're twisting my arm here. So I'll tell you this. The Jets are a disaster. The season was over, Tony, last year when Aaron Rodgers went down on the 4th play. So to me, the Jets, I don't want to talk about them anymore. You already made me talk about them. I'm not going to talk about them anymore.
That was pretty good.
It's pretty good. I don't know if I can duplicate that, but
let's hear it.
Good morning, everybody. How are you today? I'll tell you something else, Mikey. I don't know what's going on in Cincinnati.
That was pretty good.
You know, this Aaron Rodgers. Jeez, oh man, it just have to be idiots. Stephen A. I got to dig into this a little further. I can tell you this: Tony Wusso, my father, would never put up with this nonsense.
Wait, did you ever work with Mad Dog?
No.
He nails them, Ray. I mean, that is spot on.
Pretty good.
That is spot on, Mikey Miss.
Jeez, oh man.
The gummies, I'm loving.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today?
Come on.
Oh, man. People just tuning in are like, man, Mad Dog's on the Fanatic.
Thought he's on first take. Right?
This Aaron Rodgers.
We got to get Mad Dog on and have Mike in his Mad Dog voice talk to him. See if we can tell the difference.
Our version of Mike and the Mad Dog.
Man, that's good.
That's the news.
Yeah. Big win for the Jets last night, though. Mad Dog will be
we were
happy.
looking at that. That line was a little fishy.
You called it yesterday.
Yeah, that line's fishy.
You love to read the line. Well, it made
Take
no
the
sense.
Jets.
It made no sense that the Jets were favored. Well, now I guess it makes sense.
Hey, that's that line. Talking to you.
That's the line.
All right, so I want to get some women involved here. And I want to go into the break with this premise because I just got an email from a guy. First, he compliments. This show's fantastic. I enjoy the way you bust on Bill and how Bill can take your crap. And Ray does a great job. Anyway, he says.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, that Bill, man, he takes crap better than anybody.
Anyway,
I understand Bill
is happily married, and that's great. However, I just noticed that Bill doesn't wear a wedding ring. Now, I wore my wedding ring for a year or two, but I was never into jewelry. That's the classic man thing.
Yeah.
I'm never into jewelry. And I saw a picture of a ring avulsion, nasty, and I stopped wearing it. My wife kind of understood why I stopped wearing mine. BS. Sorry for the digression, but maybe ask Bill tomorrow why he doesn't wear a wedding ring.
Well, I wear it around my neck. So if you could see it on YouTube, because I'm not a jewelry guy, I don't like to have jewelry on my fingers. I wear my wedding ring around my neck. And I told my wife that before we got married. I said, look, I'm probably never going to wear the ring, but I will wear it on a chain.
Oh, look at you.
So I wear it on a chain. So you can see it on YouTube.
There you go. I think men are in general uncomfortable with wearing the wedding ring, and it's not because they don't want to wear jewelry.
Well, for me, it's jewelry because I'm at the gym a lot. I'm golfing a lot. I'm doing different things like that. So
you can't do any of that with a wedding ring on.
It's easier just to
do
keep
it all the time.
Well, people say, "Oh, we'll get the what's the material I'm talking about? The what's that material? Where the guys wear the ones like some of the football players wear them."
You're looking at me as if the 24-year-old producer's got good advice on how to wear a ring.
I'm forgetting the name of the damn ring.
Rubberized.
Yeah, it's like a rubber ring. I don't like that, so I just wear it around my neck, and it's a good look.
I'm going to make a statement here. In my experience, having talked to many people about the wedding ring situation, most men would prefer not to wear the wedding ring.
Yes, but maybe not for the reason you're implying.
Why? Because they don't like jewelry? Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. The Fanatic, 610-632-0975. We're going to get to the text board in a second. Listen, the Eagles are playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? And I think both Bill and I, and probably Ray as well, think that this is going to be an easy cut. Well, I never say an NFL game's easy, but I think they cover because I don't think Jacksonville has anything for them. I really don't. I don't think that they can challenge the Eagles with really anything. Their defense is weak against what the Eagles do best. They don't really sack the quarterback. They don't blitz. So I can't imagine that the Eagles will have a difficult time. And I don't believe this look-ahead thing means anything because the Dallas Cowboys are not viable right now. So, like, what are you looking ahead to? You're looking ahead at a game you should win anyway, or an opponent you should beat. Not saying you will next week. That's a different story when we analyze that game. But this week, I cannot see the Jacksonville Jaguars having enough of a plan to outscore what the Eagles are going to do in this game.
And you're probably right. They just don't have the firepower on offense. I mean, so far this season, even with their starting receivers and their starting left tackle, they're only averaging a little over 21 points a game. And now you're going to maybe remove both starters. We know they're without Christian Kirk. Are they going to be without Brian Thomas? They just traded away their left tackle. Travis Etienne, their starting running back, questionable for the game. Even if he plays, how healthy is he? So you're probably right. Can this Jaguars offense keep up with them? I think I said Jaguars the right way there. Jaguars, right?
No, you said Jaguars.
Damn it.
That's all right.
I can't stop.
I can't
like
stop. Saying water.
Well, water, I always say.
Yeah, I don't.
But the only shot that this Jags team has, and this isn't going out on a limb, this is just an obvious statement, is turnovers. If the Eagles somehow turn the football over and keep them in the game, that would be the only chance they have. And they still have guys that can get after the quarterback, Mike. I mean, Josh Hines Allen, formerly Josh Allen, hyphenated his name, Josh Hines Allen. We know how good he can be. And Trayvon Walker's got 6.5 sacks this season. So you still have a backup left tackle in Fred Johnson. He's fared well over the last couple of games, but could that be something that changes the game? I mean, I'm grasping for things here, but
they had one sack on 32 pass attempts last week.
Yeah, they haven't got after the quarterback.
They haven't really gotten to the quarterback. And you know, listen, the Eagles with A.J. Brown back, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good passing attack. And it keeps Jalen Hurts really conservative because the balance with the running game. They're 4-0 when A.J. plays, 80-plus yards in each of the games he's played. Last week they had like 225 yards with the two wide receivers and the tight end, Calcaterra even contributing. The Jaguars, meanwhile, rating against the pass, 31st in the league. And rating against the yards per attempt, 30th in the league. So, I mean, what's going to change? Whether the Eagles not going to do that?
Now, you would
it's
think
an easy game for them.
You'd think it'd be a big game for Hurts. You know what? You just reminded me as we're talking about Jalen. Ray had put this on the show sheet a couple days ago. Why the hell is there a clause in Jalen Hurts' contract that he can't golf? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Because you're not going to really harm yourself golfing.
And all these other guys golf. I mean, Saquon golfs.
All
right?
Let's hear what Jalen had to say about that. Cause
I told him he don't want these problems just yet. I told him I can't golf right now. It's just by contract I can't golf. But his day will come.
Okay. Wait, is he?
He's saying against who else was playing?
Saquon.
He was saying that Obama was talking smack to him, and he
really?
ends this quote talking about the former president saying his day will come.
His day will come on a golf course because he's
Jalen.
saying I'm an athlete enough to pick up golf and kick your ass.
But why can't he? Why can't he golf?
I don't know why he can't golf pursuant to his contract, but the way he's talking right there is clearly a man who's never swung a golf club because it's not that easy, my friend.
What, oblique? They're afraid of an oblique injury?
But then why is Saquon golf?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Slay's a big golfer.
You know what? It could be a lie.
Well, he doesn't say. Yeah, he said I can't. My contract
because Jalen's not the type of guy who's going to do anything if he doesn't do well. So it's like the easiest thing is it's in my contract. I can't play instead of embarrassing yourself.
Yeah, it don't make any sense.
You're not going to start golfing with the former president. That's not where you're going to start.
Yeah, and you're not going to start at Marion either, which is I think where they were.
Exactly. If you never golf, you're going to miss the ball occasionally. You're going to squib it. You're going to top it. You're going to slice it. All that kind of stuff is going to happen. And for a premier athlete, the last thing you want to leave in the impression is that you can't accomplish something.
Yeah, that's why I get so frustrated with it because I'm a premier athlete.
Oh, of course you are.
I get frustrated because I'm not an athlete, and it shows when I golf.
I get
That's more my
frustrated that you
frustration.
talk about being a premier athlete.
Real Connor Thomas energy.
Premier athlete.
Like an insult to the baseball.
I got that division.
You're a baseball insulter.
Oh, yeah. We got any update on you standing in against 90 mile per hour, 95?
Listen, from what I'm told, Ricky Bo was working on it. I think the Phillies are nervous. I think they're nervous that a novice who hasn't swung a baseball bat in a long time would come in and connect on a 95 mile.
Well, I'm
going
to make it easy for you because we occasionally do these baseball workouts where we take BP. I want to bring you to one of them, and you won't hit batting practice pitching.
All right, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll make that happen.
I'm fine with it. You're looking at me like I'm going to say no to that. That's going to be hilarious.
But I will
I'm gonna
say,
enjoy every second of it.
I will say, we're talking about golf. I'm a terrible golfer. Last year, I golfed more than I ever could have imagined in my life. I golfed so much, and I didn't get better. It was the most frustrating year of my life when it came to athletics. Because it's like other sports.
It's a pretty nice life.
Well, Ray, other sports, you try hard, you work harder, you get better. Golf doesn't necessarily work that way. You try hard, it's actually the opposite. You swing harder, it's actually going to hurt you. It's a very tough sport. I love it, man. I love it, but I just wish I was better at it.
I played 9 holes the other day, 3 weeks after back surgery.
Yeah, that wasn't smart.
Which was I'm supposed to play tomorrow in this big tournament. I may have to bail. It was a foolish thing to do because I'm stiff. I'm hurt now.
Yeah,
I can't get it in my head that I have to let things heal.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too.
Let's go to Aaron on his cell. Aaron, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Aaron?
Hey, Mike, welcome back, brother.
What's going on, Aaron? How you feeling?
I'm good. Hey, I don't know if you remember, but I met you years back, man. I'm the Ups man. I met you up at Francesca's in Doylestown.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I remember you. Yep, yes, sir.
It's good to talk to you, man. Welcome back, man.
Thank you.
So I'm with you with this Embiid stuff, man. I am so frustrated. It's just like at first I was with it, like okay, whatever. But then I started to think about it, and like, you know what? This is not right, man. They came into the season completely wrong. It looks like the team is playing the way that we feel like it's just like a malaise out there. That game the other day was horrible. It was horrendous. It was no energy. Everybody's standing around like they don't know what to do. It's just horrible, man. And you know what? Like, it's crazy because me and my homie was going to get some tickets. Like, we was going to go half on the package. Now, I'm not giving these dudes my money. Nah, because they killed the excitement going into the season. You know what I mean? Now we in limbo. We don't know what's going on with the guy. Now, I didn't have a problem with him in the Olympics. I figured, okay, he was going to be practicing anyway, so why not practice with some of the best in the world? So I was okay with that. But you're right. After the Olympics, what was you doing? Now, if it was just a knee, just come out and say it. Like, you're right, Bill. Like, if it was a knee, then just say that. At least we'll have something to work on. Now, you just got us in limbo. Like, we don't know what's going on. Oh, we got to ramp up. Like you said, what do that mean? You know what I mean? It looks like the team needs to ramp up the way they've been playing.
Yeah. Well, if it was the knee, he wouldn't be playing in scrimmages.
That's true.
So this is why the whole thing is a ruse for them. They are trying to reduce the season for him.
Yeah. And you can't.
And most people you're not on board with it, but most people are on board with that. They are conned into thinking that somehow this is going to make it better for the playoffs.
You know, I was on board at first. I'm sitting here arguing with my friend in Florida because he don't like Embiid. He think he's soft. Oh, he's not going to play back-to-backs. And I'm sitting here defending this guy. And now, like, I'm sitting back looking at it like, you know what, you're right, man. Like, why you not playing? At least play 15, 20 minutes. That's how you ramp up. Because you gotta play with these guys. You can't just turn it on in the middle of the season like that. This is a whole new team. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to click like that. And I just don't understand why they don't see that, man. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. It's horrible.
Yeah, well, they're taking a chance that they're crossing their fingers like anybody else. They don't know that it's going to help. And in the meantime, it's consumer fraud. So this is why I have a problem with it. All right, on the other side, our fearless selections of the week. Bill going all NFL. I may have to go to college, and one of them ain't Penn State. because I have no idea what's going to happen in that game tomorrow. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
but it takes someone to come around to
show you how. She's the tear in my heart. I'm alive. She's the tear in my heart.
Not 21 Pilots, is it?
21 Pilots.
Oh, good pull by me.
Nice job. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the text board in a little bit. We also are going to introduce, so somebody ripped me on the chat about my stance on the Sixers. We'll get to that in a second. But right now, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for our NFL Fearless Picks. Now, I should add a note here because people need to know. We have been jilted by our prognosticator.
That's correct.
That's right. We used to have Kevin Todd on here. He jilted us this week, saying he no longer wants to be on.
And he will no longer be on this segment.
Listen, I would be a cynic to suggest that he doesn't want to be on because Bill Colarulo is kicking his ass. but he must have his reasons. And we won't get into it, but he has decided to take a powder.
You know what?
On picking games for us.
And now that you say that, the deal we had was if we beat him, he would donate to charity. Well, technically, he waved the white flag. We beat him. I think he should still donate to charity, right?
He did. But
Ray's staying out.
He has his own reasons, I assume, that he has communicated to the sales department. And all we're left with are hypotheses on why he would bail out.
But now we get back to just you and me, baby.
Correct. 3 picks each, head-to-head. Bill, you go first.
All right, I'm going to start with the team that the Eagles dominated last week, the Cincinnati Bengals. They are 7.5-point favorites with the Las Vegas Raiders coming to town. I'm taking the Bengals to cover the 7.5. I love Cincinnati in that game. You want me to do all three? Or do you want to alternate?
Yeah, you go through. I'll do all three.
Next up, this one pains me. The Dallas Cowboys are getting 3 in Atlanta. I'm taking the Cowboys and the points, and I'm hoping the Cowboys win because I want Cowboys week next week to have a little bit more juice to it. But I think the Cowboys, I don't know if they win, but they will certainly get in 3 points, cover that 3. So I'm going to go, how about it? How about it? My final pick, and this is my lock of the week. Indianapolis Colts at Minnesota. The Vikings are given 5.5. I'm taking the Vikings in the 5.5. The Colts benched their quarterback. They're a mess. Vikings minus 5.5. Lock it down.
Those 5.5-point lines are always risky. Always risky. When I see a 5 number, no good. Good luck to you.
18-6 on the year. 18-6.
All right, here are my selections. I agree with you on the Bengals. I'm taking the Bengals also minus 7.5. They're frustrated that they got whomped last week. They were in the game early, and then they just gave it up, and I think they're going to take it out on a bad football team. So I'll take the Bengals at home, minus 7.5. I'm going to give you 2 college games because that's where I'm most efficient. Michigan in Ann Arbor this week. Oregon, number 1 team. This line started at Oregon minus 2. It is now Oregon minus 14. The Wolverines are going to take an ass kicking in their own building, in the big house. So I'm taking Oregon to cover the 14. And now I'm going to go, there is nobody that has more of an inferiority complex than Pitt when it comes to football as far as Penn State MD. So now, they got the horns out on how good that team is. Penn State's afraid of us. It's always this wannabe program that thinks they can, muscle up to the Penn States of the world. And yet, the Pitt Panthers are a 7.5-point dog to SMU. I'm going to take SMU to cover the 7.5.
Wow.
Against Pitt. They get their comeuppance this weekend.
Even with LaShawn McCoy, the former Pitt Panther, getting honored, inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame on Sunday. That doesn't do anything for them. All right, you're usually spot on with the college picks.
I'm taking the Mustangs.
What's your lock of the week? The
Are they
SMU?
the Mustangs, SMU? What are they?
There you got it.
The
Mustangs.
Mustangs? All right. My lock of the week, Oregon.
Oh, we have to pick another one?
No, that's it, right? We go 3-3, and then we put our lock of the week on, and that's brought to us by who, Ray or Mike? Who reads that?
I don't know.
That's a Mike Reed there. McCausland Lock Services.
Oh, it's McCausland Lock. I'm sorry.
Don't you
McCausland
worry.
Lock Services, the lock of the week. For up to 50% off car keys and remotes, go to where the dealers go. McCausland Lock Service. I'm going to ask both of you guys because I have to recuse myself. Penn State and Ohio State. -3.5 Penn State at home. Can Penn State win this game?
They can.
Will they win?
Yeah, can and will is two different answers.
Will Penn State win the game?
As much as I hate to say this, because you talk about Penn State haters being insufferable, you will be insufferable on Monday because I think Penn State wins on Saturday.
Wow.
A lot of disrespect coming towards the Nittany Lions. They're a higher seed, right, or a higher rank, and they're home, and they're dogs in their own building for a whiteout? It's not a whiteout.
Not a whiteout.
Not a whiteout because it's 12 o'clock game.
Big noon.
But even still.
It's a sun out.
It's a sun out. I'm going with
Sun will be shining.
I'm taking the Nittany Lions. But I don't want to hear you even mention it on Monday if they win.
I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all
right. Yeah, right.
Way to pander.
What do you got, Ray?
You get on Bryce Harper all the time. It panders to this town. You just pandered to Mike.
How am I pandering to Mike?
Absolutely pandered to Mike right there. History tells me that this is an Ohio State game. The last time Penn State beat, 2016? The blocked field goal? That was the last time. That's the only time Franklin's beaten them, right?
Correct.
Yeah. They got a quarterback with a bad ankle. I understand that Will Howard started talking, but the Downingtown West native is going to have himself a good time. I think Ohio State wins. I think it's going to be close, but they cover.
Ooh, Ohio State, a win and a cover.
All right.
All right.
Should be good.
Yeah, like I say, I can't call it. My lean is to Ohio State in this game.
A lot of
it shows you how fair I am. Even though I'm trying to rock.
No, you're hedging your bet.
Trying to rock. No, I'm not. I've
You're
been
hedging your
saying
bet.
it all week. I've been saying I'm just not so sure that they're as strong as Ohio State.
What you've just done is what you hate about the Philadelphia fan base. You just protected yourself. Because now you get to come in on Monday, and if they lose, you get to say, yeah, I knew they weren't going to win this
I will
one.
be surprised if they win this game. How about that?
Because they haven't shown they could do it.
It's
I
really
think
hard to
Ohio
say he's
State
protecting
is a li-
himself when
I just think Ohio State is a little stronger. I just think they're a stronger program at this point.
Better coach?
I don't know about that. Well, maybe, but he has his detractors too. I just think that they recruit stronger players. They recruit better players, faster players. They just have that little edge that Penn State doesn't have.
Do you think Penn State will give you that glimmer? Because I think it was 2 years ago where they had like an early lead.
I think it'll be a close game.
No, but like there's usually they give the glimmer in the Ohio State.
See,
they get that early lead.
See, here's the problem. Here's where this plays into. I know everybody was worshiping that kid for kicking a 36-yarder to beat USC. He may need a longer field goal in this game. This is why I don't get all crazy about that kind of stuff. This is a game where that kid is going to have to nail a 48-yarder.
Will you donate to his GoFundMe if he does?
And I'm just saying, it's a good story. The kid's a walk-on. He kicked the 36-yard field goal. Whoop-de-doo. This is a game where Penn State might not be able to penetrate that deep to give him short field goals. Yeah. So he's going to have a monster kick.
Penetrating deep is going to be tough.
Yes, it is. Jesus God, Bill.
That's what you said.
What's going on with you today?
That's what you said.
It's been him all week. All week.
Wait, I just repeated what he said. That's all.
Yeah, that's all he said.
I think Bill's getting shut out.
He's in a mood this week.
I think he might be getting shut out.
7 months pregnant, my wife is right now. 7 months.
Definitely getting shut out.
Couple months to go.
The text line is.
Yeah, what's going on with the text line?
Let's go to the text line. Then we want to go to the chat. The guy ripped me. We'll get to that. What's the text line saying right now?
All right, we got a couple of Eagles texts. Jamal in West Philly said, Bill thinks this is the movie. Rudy, take your trap game up the street, Bill. Want to make sure that you do that. Ryan said that we were ignoring what the actual meaning of a trap game is, this is a textbook trap game for the Eagles. So little differing opinions there from the two sides of whether or not this is actually a trap game or whether that even exists.
Yeah, and like I said, this isn't an excuse. A trap game, that's on the coaching staff. The coaches need to make sure the players are ready and that they're not going to start smelling themselves, that they're not going to be looking ahead towards the tough stretch of schedule that's coming up. Whether Dallas is good or not, it's still at the Cowboys. So this is the definition of a trap game. It doesn't mean I think they're going to lose. I'm picking the Eagles to win. I expect them to win. But that is the very essence of what a trap game is. It's when you expect a team to win. That's what it is. I heard him on the morning show, too. Oh, this isn't a trap game. They're going to dominate the Jaguars. That's the point of what a trap game is, Raymond.
Yeah, but so maybe they play down a level. They're not going to lose this game to this inferior an opponent. And a trap game only applies when you're looking at, you don't look ahead to the upcoming games. And in this particular situation, the game ahead is the Dallas Cowboys, who, like, if the Cowboys were surging and they were ahead of the division, and it became such a monster mental game for you to win, then maybe you look ahead. But you don't look ahead to a team that's not achieving. Like, the Dallas Cowboys right now are not that much of a threat that you would look ahead to them.
But it's always Dallas week. It doesn't matter what the Eagles are. It doesn't matter what the Cowboys
not as much
are. It's
anymore.
always Dallas
I don't know. If they were more viable, they're just not.
Look, I don't think the Cowboys are good. I've been saying that since the summer. But if they beat the Falcons on Sunday, the Cowboys are 4-4. It's not as if their season's over. Now, I don't think they're good, but they're not the 2-6 Giants. They could be a 500 football team next week.
But the 500 is not formidable. They're just 500. All right, let's go to this chat thing. The guy is saying that I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here about consumer fraud.
Yes, I can't. I think it's gone already because the chat's always active, man.
Yeah.
This chat is one of the best
He's
chats
saying
going.
that I was a fan of the process, and that was consumer fraud.
Correct.
And so now I'm spitting out of both sides of my mouth. Well, here's why that was not consumer fraud. The process back then was the only way in the NBA you can get better. Now, things have changed a little bit. But the process meant that you had to accumulate as many high picks as you could. That was the idea behind the process. And it was a process that landed them Joel Embiid. And it landed them Ben Simmons, who at the time looked like that was part of a good process. It didn't turn out that way because sometimes things don't work out the way you plan them. But they did make bad picks in Okafor and Fultz, which messed their process up. Had they taken other players, the process would have worked a lot better. But here's why it's not consumer fraud. You knew they weren't good. They told you they weren't going to be good. By trotting this out here, the Tony Rotens of the world, they were telling you they were dreck. And so consequently, attendance went down. They weren't trying to con anybody. This is more of a con than the process. The process was, here we are, and here's what we're doing.
Yeah, as much as we could debate whether the process worked, because I don't think it did, I agree with you that they were very honest about it. We're not contenders. We're not going to be contenders. And you're right. People stopped showing up because of that reason. Right now, it's, hey, we are doing everything we can to win a title. And I found it. It was from Jacob Vernell. Tell Mike the process was consumer fraud. They didn't know what would happen. They scammed us to keep us interested, and you supported.
What do you mean they didn't know what was going to happen? Their methodology was we need to get really good young players. The only way we do that is early in the draft process. So we have to lose to land early in the draft process. It was a clear attempt of getting better, not getting worse.
But you said something, and a lot of people say, well, the process got us Joel.
Yeah.
But really, the process only got you Joel because you didn't win the lottery that year and you fell to number 3.
Doesn't matter.
But if it would have gone as planned, they would have had a higher pick that year. They would have taken Joel. They would have taken Wiggins or Parker.
Maybe not. Maybe they like Joel the whole time. What, number 3 is not a high pick? You don't have to get number 1. Yeah, as long as you're in that realm, you're going to get a really good player. That's what the process was supposed to do.
Yeah, 1 out of how many?
That doesn't matter that Joel fell to them. They were in that position to be able to select a player like that.
But if the process had worked according to plan, they would have had the number 1 overall pick that year, and they wouldn't have taken Joel. They wouldn't have.
You don't know that. You don't know that they wouldn't have taken Joel. Joel was a 7-footer. Wiggins was a nice player. I get it, winless for Wiggins. But maybe, like the basketball people, go, this guy's got a better upside. You don't know that they wouldn't have taken Embiid number one.
Yeah, it didn't work. I still don't. I mean, the process, I think we could say now, with hindsight being 2020, it didn't work.
But it's not the same. This is consumer fraud because they are dangling the possibility that he could play, and he's not playing because deep inside they're saying we want to lop off a third of the season. That's why we're not playing him. Now, they can't admit that, but that's clearly what I think they're doing here. That's consumer fraud because you're asking people to come to the park because he may play any night.
To further your point, I mean, we're sitting here now. There's a game tomorrow night at 7:30, and we still don't know, is Joel playing? I'm assuming he's not.
You actually think he's going to play?
No, but they haven't announced that he's not. It was they were going to reevaluate him at the end of the week. It's the end of the week.
If he was going to play, wouldn't they have announced that?
You would think. So that's probably why
But instead, they're dangling the possibility that he could play, which to me is consumer fraud. Now, not literally. That Sixers aren't going to be taken to jail.
No, well, because they're
not going to get fined in civil court.
No, because their tickets probably release them from any liability for something like this, where it's because you don't know who's going to play.
Well, in general, like it's not consumer fraud. It's technically consumer fraud.
Yeah, but legally, no, because there's probably waivers and everything else involved.
We have some. Is this some news here?
A little bit.
Hopefully, it's not.
Devontae Smith was not in the stretching period of practice.
He was not. Now, he hasn't been on the injury report, but I think it was Zingaro say he was icing his leg on Wednesday, I think. But nothing on the injury report. So let's hope this is nothing.
Oh, wow. There's a little twist into it.
Yeah, let's
610-632-0975. We got one big hour of the program coming up on the Mike Missanelli Show. And Tim McManis will join us in just 9 minutes' time. So don't go anywhere. We'll get Timmy's spin on whether this is a trap game or not for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Mike Missanelli Show continues. Mike Missanelli Show. It's brought to you by Ferguson HVAC, Lion Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, and supplies for every heating and cooling job. Just visit one of Ferguson's current locations in Beth-Salem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. Well, interesting little tidbit just dropped by Tim McManis with Devontae Smith not seen in the stretching portion of today's practice. Let's bring in the man who covers the Eagles for ESPN.com on the Comcast Business Hotline, Timmy Mack. Hello, Timmy Mack. How you feeling today?
What's up, Mike? Everything's good. How about with you?
Good. All right, so first of all, let's talk about this Devontae situation. What's up?
Yeah, so we were just out there for practice and kind of scanning the field to see who's there and who's not. And a couple of the people that we expected not to be there were, in fact, not. And that's Darius Slay and Dallas Goedert. So I don't think they're going to be playing in this game. But then, yeah, I mean, you usually see Devontae Smith right on the edge of the warm-up line there, and he wasn't there. So I checked with an Eagles official as we were walking out of practice and seemed to catch him by surprise, like, oh, Devontae's not out here, so we're still gathering information. No need to panic quite yet, but yes, the portion that was open for practice for us, there was no Smith.
Well, what could that possibly mean, though? Like, he's late, or you didn't want to, like, he's getting something else worked on? Like, what does it mean when you're not in that stretching portion?
Well, it means one of two things. Either he sustained an injury during practice yesterday, and it hadn't come up on the report yet, and this is the day that it would pop up. Or it could just be like a maintenance thing, or, it could be nothing. So I don't want to over-speculate, but just observing what we saw.
Okay. All right, let's look at this game now, because I just don't think Jacksonville could be a strong enough team to come in here and win. And I know some people, including my boy Bill here, thinks it could be a trap game. What do you see here in this spot?
It's definitely feeling a little trappy. It's not a very good team that they're playing. There's no juice. Nobody is really talking like this is a challenge for them, and Dallas is up next. A trip to Dallas. And so those are the makings for a trap game where you're riding high and you got a division opponent on the docket, and then and you're going up against a team that just hasn't really shown much. So, the ingredients are there. I can't say that I've picked up like the Eagles are looking past it or anything like that, but I think that they do have to guard against it, and I think that they need to stay true to form. In other words, if you look at the Jaguars' defensive numbers in particular, Mike, against the pass, like they've allowed 17 touchdown passes already this season. That's tied for the most in the NFL. They're like at the worst or close to the worst in all of those metrics. You just don't want to get carried away and be like, all right, now it's going to be Jalen dropping back 45 times and get out of character that way. As long as they sustain the formula that they've had, they should be able to take care of this.
Yeah, you're right. 31st in the league rating against the pass, 30th in the league yards per attempt against the pass. So Sirianni seems to be more of a button-down guy, letting the run game take over. You think it's possible he could change it up to be influenced by those numbers?
I mean, that's the temptation that you absolutely have to avoid. And I think it goes, honestly, back to something that Jalen Hurts talked about post-game against the Bengals this week, where he said, like, we have to be the team that is dictating the terms. Like, we want to be the imposers. And there was a mentality that also speaks to really the slow starts, I think, of like, let's figure out what the defense is doing, and then we're going to adjust accordingly. And somewhere along the way, post-bye week, I think there was a mentality shift where, it's more like, no, let's us be the imposers here. Let's us do what we do well. And obviously, Mike, what they do well is run the football. And then we saw against Cincinnati that they can build some play action off of that. So I don't expect them to go too wayward, and if they do, it's a mistake.
Timmy, you got to tell me about this newfound maturity with the head coach. It's been 3 weeks since he talked about Mount Union, his brothers, Friday Night Lights, football being shared with family. Like, what is going on here with him?
I guess he's trying to find his groove, right, Mike? Like he entered the year being more reserved, I think, and you heard the owner Jeffrey Lurie during the league meeting saying, yeah, sometimes he can, that can work against him when he gets a little too excitable. And you could tell through the messaging and then through Sirianni's behavior that was intentional. Like they were trying to rein him back in. And then they sort of stumbled out of the gates, and Jalen Hurts and a couple other players like, Nick, just be yourself. We need like the 2022 Nick back. And that backfired in a big way with the whole Cleveland scene. So I think he's now being a little bit more measured in his public approach. Anyway, it doesn't mean he's not still animated behind the scenes. Like the doors fly open after that Bengals to the locker room after that Bengals win, and here comes Sirianni strutting around like somebody screaming at the top of their lungs. Pretty Young Thing by Michael Jackson. Like, who is that? But it was blocked by a partition, so you couldn't see who it was. It was like it's probably a player, whatever. And then right around the corner comes Sirianni, screaming at the top of his lungs and clapping his hands. So it's not like he's lost it behind the scenes, but I think it's more of a measured tone publicly.
Yeah, the tone has been noticeably different, and it's throwing me off. There's nothing I can make fun of. It's handicapping me, Timmy.
Well, I mean, Mike, they're also winning.
I know, I get it, but look at me. This is all about me. He's handicapping me. He's taking weapons away from me.
He's not feeding your Sirianni as a clown algorithm. I get it.
He's not. I can't take it. What do you got, Bill?
All right, this Jaguars offense doesn't look like they're going to be able to keep up with the Eagles. But the one thing they haven't been too bad at is giving up sacks. They've only given up 18 this season, which is top 12 in the NFL. But then they went away and they traded their starting left tackle, Cam Robinson, to Minnesota this week. So they're going to have a new starter in there in Walker Little. Do you expect this newfound Eagles pass rush to have a big day?
And also, if you look at the injury report, so Doug Peterson spoke with his reporters earlier today and said that Ezra Cleveland, one of their guards, is going to be out for this game, and then another of their guards is also in the injury report and is iffy. And so it looks like there's going to be some vulnerability on the interior of the offensive line for the Jaguars. And of course, to your point, they trade away some of their left tackle strength there, and so that presents an opportunity for this defense. I mean, I think if we're looking big picture, Bill, about like what could hold this team back, it's still the defensive front and the edge rushers in particular. They've taken advantage of some favorable matchups in recent weeks, and they've won them, and they've looked a lot better. But it's also hard not to look past the fact that Bryce Huff still doesn't look comfortable. Nolan Smith, it's encouraging that he's coming on, but you need to see it against some better competition. But to answer your question, I think yes. I think this is a good opportunity to be able to take advantage of a little bit of a weakened offensive line for Jacksonville and a quarterback that will turn it over every once in a while that you can take advantage of. So they should be able to. Is it fixed? Big picture on this defense. I'm still holding out a little bit of judgment there, but this week they should be able to make some things happen.
All right, this is a question that it really doesn't have an answer, but I just want to get your feel on this. The last 3 games have been really efficient. Last week was a really complete game, which is usually indicative of how good of a team this is. Can we stop here with that game, or do they need to prove a lot more than what we saw last week? Do they have to continue this to be considered the premier team in this division?
So for me, that was the most significant offensive performance I've seen out of them in probably over a year, Mike. The things that people have been screaming about with this offense, like they're so loaded, their offensive line is so good. Like, how are they getting stuck in this vanilla offense and aren't able to do things that other teams seem to be doing somewhat routinely with a high degree of success, like the play action and throwing over the middle? Like, is this a Jalen Hurts problem, running plays under center? Does he just not want to do that? Is it a coaching stubbornness? Like what's happening? We know there's been a lot of friction around that point, both internally and externally, for a number of months now. And to see them execute that, to see them be run heavy and then be committed to play action, for Hurts to be throwing darts over the middle and his passing to be in rhythm, for them to have a huge uptick in under center snaps. It's like, okay, now they've shown us something. Now they've shown that they do have something else in their pocket that they're using to finally get this offense to a place where you think that it can be. So I think it was really encouraging. Of course, they still have to prove that they can consistently do that week over week before we can say definitively that they're, whether it's the best in the division or a bona fide NFC contender. But I thought that was a huge step in the right direction.
Tim, last question has nothing to do with football, but I know you're a basketball man too. You have an opinion on, and you're a Philadelphian. Do you have an opinion on this Embiid situation?
Yes. So number one.
Not even a second. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So number one, like, I feel like the Sixers are botching this. And I don't know, like, everything that's in play behind the scenes, but there's just a lack of them being forthright that is, like, confounding and also not fair to the fan base. And that's really who I think about most is the fan base, because, like, those tickets aren't cheap, man. And you don't know when a star is going to play. Like, this whole Kobe Bryant philosophy of, you know, there's going to be someone in the seats that has never seen me before, so it's my obligation to be on the court and show them something, I guess, no longer exists. So it's kind of a frustrating state of affairs, man. I think the fans deserve better.
Wow, there you go, Bill.
So he agrees
Bill's
with you.
bought in. Bill's bought in. Bill is totally with the organization, saving him. Let's just save him in bubble wrap, and then we'll unveil him in February. And then we'll be really good.
He's exaggerating, Tim.
Yeah,
I said I'm okay with load management. I wish he was ready to start the season. Two different things.
Timmy, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks,
and,
Tim.
We'll look forward to your report for Sunday.
All right, boys. See ya.
Tim McManis, ESPN.com. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the Sixers have announced, well, they haven't announced. Keith Pompey is reporting.
Well, Joel announced it.
Oh, Joel announced that Joel Embiid will not be playing tomorrow. So if you have tickets, oofa.
Yeah, and you know what's going to happen next. The next announcement will be he's not making the West Coast trip. So now he will be out until November 10th at the earliest. And we're going to have to deal with another week of Mike Missanelli angry about the Sixers.
Listen, I've made it clear on what's happening here. They are clearly trying to reduce the season for him, and that amounts to consumer fraud. Mike Missanelli Show, 610-632-0975. That's how you get in, and we'll take your calls after this.
Been holding court.
I know you think this is a trap game, and I want you to convince me today why this is a trap game and why this Jacksonville team has a chance to win. There are actually people picking the Jags in an upset. I just don't get it. I'm looking at the numbers. Numbers don't equate at all. If the only thing that you have going into this game is a hunch that it's a trap game, I can't go there. I got to go by what the statistical data shows me, and the statistical data shows me there's no way that the Jacksonville Jaguars can be good enough to come in here and win.
Mike and Bill have been pleading their cases.
They just traded away their starting left tackle. So you look at it on paper and you say, there's no way the Eagles should lose to the Jags. And that's why I say it could be a trap game. Because when you factor in all of these things, they shouldn't lose. They got a better roster. It's an inferior opponent. They're coming off 3 straight wins, 2 back-to-back road blowouts. But you got Doug Peterson coming back to town. You got a guy who, say what you will about Dougie P, and we can debate whether or not he's actually a good coach, an X and O's guy. I think his players like him. And these players for the Jaguars understand what this means for Doug Peterson, because not only is he returning to Philadelphia, he could be coaching for his job. So when I factor that in, I say, all right, well, you know what? This could be the quote-unquote trap game, because the Eagles are going to be feeling pretty good. They shouldn't lose this game, but yet you look at the Jags, and they may be playing for their coach's life.
The Mike Missanelli Show Holding Court is brought to you by Grunko Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. We treat every case like it's Dallas Week. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. Now back to Mike Missanelli on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It's 1:20. Mike Missanelli Show. A couple newsy items that we have to take care of. One involving Joel Embiid, which is very interesting. But also the Phillies made a trade. Who did they get, Mike? Well, I don't know who they got, but they traded old Scotty Jetpacks. Cash. It's a cash exchange. Scotty Kingery has been traded to the Angels. Oh, Scotty, we hardly knew ye.
You know what this is all for, Mike?
What's that?
They're clearing space for Juan Soto. Nah, people got to calm down. I think there is zero chance they get Juan Soto.
Yeah, I agree with you. But here's the bigger news. Joel Embiid apparently is perturbed. Now, it's taken him a few days to catch up because this story was a while ago, wasn't it?
It was, but maybe this is the first time he spoke to media. So this is...
Marcus Hayes had written the story kind of tearing into Embiid a few days ago in the Inquirer. And that's when he had to change his lead because he used his brother and his son and the whole bit. It was kind of personal. So he changed it. He changed the lead of it, right?
He did. He took, I think, the reference to the brother and son out of the article.
Yeah. And so Joel Embiid fired back. I don't know when he fired back or
I think
how
this is
he
today.
Fired back. It's today, but this is what he had to say in the...
So this is coming from Adam Aronson, who covers the Sixers for the Philly Voice. And this is a quote from Joel Embiid. I've done way too much for this city and putting myself at risk for people to be saying that. I do think it's bull bleep. Marcus, whatever his name is, I've done way too much for this effing city to be treated like this. End quote. Joel Embiid not holding back. Joel Embiid also said it's very difficult for him to not play, and his absence is not for a lack of trying. Things are trending the right way. Mentally, I'm dealing with just getting that trust back, trusting yourself, trusting your body. I should be back pretty soon.
Now, there are a lot of people that would say, yeah, we keep picking on them. We drive our superstars out of town. And I would only add some balance by saying, I'm not sure you did that enough for the city because the Sixers have come up short, and there have been a lot of games in the playoffs where you have been, absent, really. Now, we understand you're a great player and a dominant player in this league, but I think the criticism has been fairly fair about it, and I think right now the issue is we want to see you play because we want to see this team, whether it's good enough to actually contend. So you can't be displeased with people being displeased at how this season has started for this team.
Yeah, I understood his frustration with Marcus a little bit, though. I thought Marcus crossed the line, bringing up the brother who died and the son and all that. I didn't think he needed to go there. But, yeah, it's easy to see why fans are frustrated. And this is today, Mike. Apparently, Joel spoke after practice.
Listen, there's no question that the fan base is going to side more with the player than a media guy. So they're going to take it and say, yeah, see, these media people, they try to divide. Yeah, listen, he's a columnist. He had an opinion. You can agree with it or not. Let's go to Elroy on a cell. Elroy, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Elroy?
Hey, Mikey Miss. Really, I'm glad that you're back. I really enjoy your commentary on sports.
Thank you.
But there is one thing I wanted to single out to you, and it was during the process.
Mm-hmm.
We drafted Drew Holiday, and Drew Holiday is now a 2-time, probably going to be a 3-time NBA champion. So there's nobody out of that process that has achieved more than Drew Holiday. So let's stop putting Embiid at the top. I love Embiid, and I love Maxey. But and another thing with as far as the fans.
Wait a minute.
No
First of all, Drew Holiday wasn't the Drew Holiday we know now back then.
Nope.
We didn't know what Drew. You didn't know what Drew Holiday was back. With all due respect, you didn't know what Drew Holiday was back then. He wasn't that great of a player back then.
He was on the floor. I watched his game.
No, he wasn't.
He was on the floor.
No,
he was as good. Okay,
no, he
so-
wasn't. Not back then. Come on. They trade. When did they trade him? What year did they trade him?
2013.
2013. They
That
traded
started
him.
the process.
That was the start
It
of
was
it.
the start of the process because he really wasn't a building block for them to build on. He
is exactly what we've been chasing.
No, but they
a point guard that knows how to run the
But
floor.
Elroy, you're using today's evaluation of Drew Holiday for back then, and it wasn't the same thing.
I used it back then when we traded Drew. I was pissed when we traded him. I said
You were one of there weren't that many people that were pissed.
Yeah, but he started the process, Elroy, so you couldn't keep Drew Holiday and think that you would get all that happened after.
We could have kept Drew Holiday.
You got a high
could've
pick.
kept Drew
The
Holiday.
mindset was you had to get as many high picks as possible and rebuild. Drew Holiday provided that at least. He gave you what did he get you? Did he get you the sixth pick in the draft?
Yeah, you got
a high
Nerlens
pick out of
Noel and the pick. But who'd they use that pick on, Ray? Do you remember? The pick they got in exchange for the Drew Holiday one, I don't remember who they got.
I know, but Elroy, you're making a fatal mistake here by evaluating him at this time at
I'm not
his
making a
talent
fatal
level
mistake.
now.
The facts are facts.
Yeah, but was not a fact. He wasn't that
Okay,
great. He wasn't that great of a
is it a
player
fact?
back then.
Is it a fact that Allen Iverson was a great player?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it a fact that he never won a chip?
Yeah, but we're talking about a dominant player in Allen Iverson. Drew Holiday was not a dominant player. He just wasn't. I don't know what you were looking at back then. He was, in a lot of ways, a disappointing player because he really wasn't a great shooter back then.
I just looked it up, too. They traded Holiday for Nerlens Noel.
Mm-hmm.
They also got the 10th overall pick that year from the Pelicans. They used that on Elfrid Payton, who they traded
Elfrid Payton
to the Magic. And then they got Dario Saric, another first-round pick, another second-round pick. So you couldn't have kept Holiday and think, like he said, he's the point guard they've been chasing. Well, they need a point guard now. They didn't need one then. They were going through a whole different...
But he wasn't that point guard back then. You know, you're talking about he was in the infancy stages of a career. He had to mature. He was like 22 years old when they traded him. They drafted him when he was 19. He wasn't a dominant player, and they didn't think he could be. Now, you know, it's evolved all the years that he played. He evolved into that. 610-632-0975. We're back after this. Demo, Jimmy Eat World, stuff like that.
I actually saw Jimmy Eat World. I was at a legal conference out in Utah, and they brought in Jimmy Eat World as the entertainment.
I just saw him.
Really?
Yeah, at the outdoor venue at the Man. They were the opening act for Manchester Orchestra, which you know nothing about.
Well, who did you see?
Manchester Orchestra. Jimmy Eat World is the opening act. The outdoor venue at the Man.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think the only Jimmy Eat World song was it The Middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the song.
They
That
have several. The election's next week, right? Oh, I don't know what's going to happen, but these political ads drive me nuts. Like, it's just crazy the money they're spending on these political ads.
It's the text messages that are annoying me.
Yeah, but the TV is just like, it's swamped. Here's my idea. I have great ideas, and people ignore them for some reason. My idea would be a salary cap for political ads. $10 billion is being spent this year on political ads. Now, with that money, you could do a lot of good things. So how about a salary cap on political ads? You can't exceed a certain number and made a best candidate win with the parameters. Instead of outspending everybody, the parameters, they all spend the same amount, and you see how you do. Isn't that a great idea?
You said a lot of things I disagree with on this show. That may be the most profound statement you've made since we started.
I mean,
that's a great idea.
You're trying to outspend the person to win the election. Like, salary cap. Do the best with what you can with a limited amount, and the rest of that money is used for better things. I'm just reading this story, right? These two guys that are anti-Trump guys now have organized an advertising platform where they're advertising on porn sites.
Are there such thing as porn sites? I didn't know.
Now some porn sites don't take political advertising, but some do. So they're reasoning that they're going after the targeting the non-collegiate white men, many of whom would watch porn. And so they're advertising on that, saying that since for this Project 2025, the conservative platform would ban porn, they're trying to now take votes away from that by saying you're going to lose your porn unless you vote against Trump.
That's thinking outside the box,
It's kind of brilliant, isn't it?
Thinking outside the
brilliant
box.
idea. All right, so we have Joel Embiid now talking about this whole thing. Where he seems to be very put off and not appreciated, and this is playing right into fans. Because fans go, so you're going to drive another player away?
Yeah.
Here's what he had to say about this story that kind of...
Wait, hold on. Before you play it, did you bleep it, Ray?
I bleeped the three that I heard.
Okay, I just want to make sure. There's a lot of expletives.
He throws some bleeps in here.
So I want to make sure there's some bleeps.
So here is Joel being put upon.
It was never decided. Like I said, everybody has been on the same page. If your body doesn't react well, and if your body tells you one thing, and I've done it. From what I can tell you, I've broken my face twice. I came back early with the risk of losing my vision. Had broken fingers. I still came back. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, when I see people saying he doesn't want to play, I've been way too much. I've done way too much, for this city, and putting myself at risk, for people to be saying that. So I do think it's bull. Like that dude, he's not here. Marcus, whatever his name is. I've done way too much for city to be treated like this. So done way too much. But like I said, I wish I was as lucky as other ones, but that doesn't mean that I'm not trying and I'm not doing whatever it takes to be out there, which I'm gonna be here pretty soon.
Listen, all right. I know how people are going to take that. They're going to say, "See, where everybody's picking on Joel. He's done way too much for the city. He's done a lot for the sports scene. I don't think he's done too much for the city because they haven't won and they've been eliminated in the second round and last year in the first round. I get that he's been injured and he's broken his face a couple of times, but the issue is not him not wanting to play. The issue is what the Sixers are doing. by limiting him from playing. And he has been permissive to not playing. Nobody's saying he doesn't want to play. He's just been very permissive with this Sixer plan. That rankles me. It's the Sixer plan that rankles me more than it's Joel not wanting to play.
Yeah, I do understand Joel's frustration, though. I do, because he felt that Marcus Hayes crossed the line. And basically what he's saying is, I've played through all these injuries. Like last year, I didn't have to come back from the knee, and I did. And then I didn't have to battle through the Bell's palsy like he did. And, so I could understand his frustration. But what do you want him to do? You're saying he's permissive in it. If the medical staff or the training staff is saying, Joel, this is the plan we're putting in place, you want him to say no?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm going to play.
I think it's important for me to play early in the season so we can get rocking and we can get on the same page and we can get some continuity. Yes, that's what I expect him to do. Because the bottom line is you had a responsibility to get ready for the start of the season. And no other player who's a superstar level would be questioned the same way. Don't give me that you're special, that you've done too much for this city. All players who are of your category would be disappointed for their fan base if you weren't playing.
Yes, but now this leads us back to the same thing we've talked about all week but what is really going on? Is there an issue with the knee that's preventing him from playing? And if that's the case, then I don't get on Joel.
What'd you read today?
Well, and that's where I'm going. But then I just saw more tweets coming out that at practice today, Joel and Paul George performed the entire practice, including the 5-on-5 scrimmage.
Okay, so is he hurt?
So what's
is there an injury?
Well, yeah, then that leads me to your side
here.
It's these cryptic messages. So what's going on? Is he not in shape? Because if he can play in 5-on-5 at practice and he can go through a full practice, then how come he can't play in a game? I'm so confused, Mike. I really am. I'm just so confused on this whole situation.
Let me ask you a question. If the medical staff at the Los Angeles Lakers said, you know what, LeBron, we think it would be a really best for you to not go through the wear and tear of an entire season, what would he say?
But Joel's been injury prone and LeBron hasn't.
Well, why? Do you think LeBron takes care of his body a little better? I don't know. Could that be like?
LeBron is a freak of nature.
Could that be a possibility?
But he's an absolute freak of nature.
Oh, he's just a freak of nature. He's just 40 years old. He's a freak of nature. So, like him ramping up after the Olympics to play a season where he got himself in good. Like what? That doesn't count.
I know. Not only did he play in the Olympics, he was Captain America.
Yeah. All those other guys that played in the Olympics, did they get themselves ready?
It's hard to argue, Mike.
All right, let's go to Tyrone in North Philly. Tyrone, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Tyrone.
Hey, this is Mike. I'm so glad you're back. I've been listening to the ads to tune in, and tuned into the Mike Missanelli show. Hey, what if I tuned in and all I heard was Bill?
Well, you would be enlightened to hear Bill's perspective.
What are you taking a shot? What are you got to take a shot at me for on a Friday afternoon?
You would be enlightened. Bill has his opinions that enlighten as well.
I'm just saying that if you're advertising to tune into the Mike Missanelli show and the advertisers are paying for that, and I tune in, I just hear Bill, I'll be half happy.
Oh, so you're making some kind of analogy that
so I go down to the
would be the okie doke if they advertised me and I wasn't performing.
You weren't there. But
I get it.
He weren't taking a shot at you. He was just saying, this is part of the ruse.
I get it, Tyrone. I get it now.
You're advertising the Sixers, but there's no Embiid.
And I show up with my ticket. I paid my ticket. I'm watching what? This is not the Sixers. I'm not watching the Sixers if Joel's not playing. Certainly if not Paul's playing. I'm watching what? What? G League basketball?
I hear you.
I can drive down the Delaware.
This is kind of my point that the consumer fraud of it is come and see us, even though we're depleted, but we're not going to tell you when we're depleted.
And then this comment from Joel. Mike, you hit it right on the note. I've been saying this all along. What has he done for this city? Tell me exactly what Joel's done for this city.
Listen, he has played hurt. I'll give him credit. He's played hurt. I get it, but we haven't gotten past the second round, Holmes.
It'd be
one thing you want a championship, and that would be doing something for the city.
if this is Jason Tatum telling us, what have I done for the city? Oh, got to win a championship, and that's what I'm saying. But
no, I get it. I think sometimes he gets trapped into the woe is me when the woe is me doesn't have a strong substance to it. It's got an okay substance. It's got a solid substance. He's made them a viable franchise. He's a league superstar. He's a dominant player. There's no question about it.
I got 2 points in on this real quick.
Sure.
One, right now, I think the Sixers would be, if you tuned in the Mike Missanelli show and it was just me, because that would be Embiid, Paul George, both you guys are out right now.
So you calling me Paul George?
Yeah, I get to be Maxie in this one.
Pretty good compliment.
Yeah. So that would be that. But to the point about...
Don't you think you went a little far with the Paul George thing?
Listen, it's Friday. I'm not going to see him until Monday.
Yeah.
He can have this.
I mean, you might
Thanks, Ray.
You might go KJ Martin or something.
See,
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I thought I was Joel and Mike was Paul George, but whatever.
I get to be Maxie. That's cool. Couple of 2,000 babies. Anyways, looking at like the idea of what he's done for the city, I think he deserves a little more credit on that one than just obviously it's to get the second round, but like this is an organization that since Charles Barkley's rookie year has gotten out of the second round once.
Okay.
I think there's a little bit more at play than just like Embiid hasn't been the only thing that stopped this thing from getting out of the second round. So what have you done for the city? He's made it a viable team. He's been part of the reason why they haven't gotten past the second round, but he's also been the reason why they are at the top of the conference.
I totally get it, but there's also been many games, or at least a few notable games, where he disappeared.
And I get that. I understand that. I just think we're downplaying some of the injuries he's played through to try and get them past that second round. When he says it, he views it as I'm trying to get you guys what you want. Right now, I don't love what's happening.
It's done a lot for the city. The William Penns and the Benjamin Franklins. That's done a lot for the city.
But and I'm going to agree with Mike on something here, though. Everything that's going on right now, and Joel having to speak today and defend himself, and it's all created by the fact that the Sixers and Joel don't have him ready to start the season. Because if he would have started the season and then they would have load managed him, there would not have been any sort of backlash like there is now. This is when you said, Mike, earlier in the week, this is the tone it set for the season. They created this mess, unfortunately.
They did.
And by the way, George out for tomorrow night, too. We're just keeping track.
Oh, they're both out.
Yeah.
So. Don't worry about it, folks. Just pay your $25 for parking and your $15 beers and your heavy ticket. Don't worry about it.
They all look good at the Halloween party, though.
Yeah.
I saw them post pictures.
Really?
Sixers posted. Joel went as Batman.
That's wonderful. That's fantastic.
Looked like Ricky Council was the Joker. Paul George was an astronaut.
Beautiful.
Tyrese Maxey was a prisoner. At least we got that, Mike.
We're the prisoners now. It's time for closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
All right, my closing argument is not about the Sixers. I'm a little too aggravated to even get back into this. Let's go Eagles. Come on now. They're playing an inferior opponent. There's no, like the Doug Peterson return, it's not going to lift the Jaguars to some magnificent effort. The numbers are the numbers. They're 31st in the league against the rating in the pass. They're 30th in the league yards per attempt against the pass. So they've only had one sack and 28 pass attempts last week. Josh Jacobs ripped them on the ground. I mean, the Eagles can pick and choose on what they want to do with this team, and that's why they're a 7.5-point favorite. Plus, the Jags have allowed 30-plus points in 3 of the last 4 games. You mean to tell me that they're going to hold the Eagles to lower than 30 for some unknown reason, where their defense is supposed to improve from one week to the next? Their offense with no notable weapons is going to score more than 30 points. I'm not feeling it. Bill?
Yeah, as much as I've said that this is the definition of a trap game, which I believe that it is, I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles will be susceptible to the trap. I think the Eagles are going to come out. You're right, Mike. The Jaguars' defense, not good enough to stop this offense. I think the Eagles are probably going to throw a little bit more than fans want them to, but that really sets up well for what the Jaguars don't do well, is stopping the pass. So I think the Eagles will put up 31 points. I think you'll see the Eagles' defense continue to shine. Only giving up maybe 17 if the Jags are lucky. I got a 31-17 win for the Eagles. We'll be singing Sirianni Love on Monday.
Instead, we're going to sing this. Is
that the Celtic? Is that the Nittany Lions right there?
Hold on. It's Quintus Russo, everybody. And there's a big Penn State and a big victory.
Everybody have a great rest of the weekend. And we'll talk to you next week.
Go Birds.